As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming where the scope too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is the best for eyes. You're done but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about Phil's taxes yet again, and some of the recent developments that have come about. Now, I know I haven't seen you guys in a couple days. My apologies. Life comes at you fast. And with that being said, and as that's usually said, Phil can contest to that. Phil can understand that. So, how do we start this off? I'm going to bring you a few videos. Almighty Tevin will be in there. Praise be Almighty. We're going to actually go to him as it pertains to Phil's twit longer. And you get to kind of see how Phil was using smoke and mirrors to try to keep people disoriented. Obviously, you can't get anything past our Almighty Tevin. Praise be Almighty. We're also going to go to, it's like 2 or 3 videos by Mr. Stuffs. And I think we're good after that. So it's going to be about 3 or 4 videos. Should be pretty interesting. But let's go over some of the cliff notes of all this so far. So, Phil needs roughly, like I said, about $4,000. He may actually need closer to $5,000. But how much did Phil actually make? How much did Phil actually get from, I think it was December 30th actually was when he had his first big fundraiser, up till, I'm going to say today, even though I really couldn't tell you, today being Friday the 13th. That must be rather poetic. The question is who's that going to affect more, me or Phil? Phil has basically obtained about $9,000. Quite a bit of money. Quite a bit of money. Now, that $9,000, what is that for? That $9,000 was supposed to go to Phil's back taxes, his business tax, to be more precise. That's what all this is supposed to be about in the great scheme of things. As the gout turns, if you will. This is all supposed to be about back state tax. Now remember, I had said that Phil was going to use Twitch and use this whole tax situation to conjure up the scheme to have all of his taxes being paid from now on. And eventually, in the long term, they just have all of his bills overall to be paid from direct donations. So all of his YouTube money and all of his Twitch money, meaning from sponsorships and stuff like that, well, from advertisements and whatnot, would go straight to him, which would be a nice chunk of change. But he would be guaranteed to have all of his taxes being taken care of by his fan base, by the cult, whatever you want to call them. So he's gained about $9,000. Now he said that he paid his federal, he paid the tax man, or he paid his tax attorney / accountant. That right there is a whole rigmarole in itself. And he threw down another $4,000 for something else. Now that none of that was back taxes though. What it seems like is he paid his federal tax, he paid the state tax that he owed, and then he paid his tax attorney for working all this out. The back taxes hasn't been paid yet. And one of the reasons why for that is because he hasn't given a number for that yet. At least so it seems. So it seems, okay? Like I said, we're going to go through Almighty Tevin's video, or at least a portion of it, and we'll hear him break it down, and, you know, and that pretty much is the end-all be-all as it pertains to that. Now, the next part that we need to talk about is, oh, first things first. So let's do some shoutouts. Shoutouts! So, it's a Gundam. Check him out. He did a video recently on, well, he's done a bunch of videos actually recently. Check out the PS5 spec video where he actually goes through and how the PS5 is going to basically come into form. Check that video out. It's a really great video. And also check out his one on this whole bully hunters situation. If you guys want me to do a video on that, I will. I don't know what to make of that, but I saw his video and I thought the show was absolutely entertaining. Haven't seen Tevin's yet, because Tevin's just popped up on my feed, so I'm gonna watch his video next. We'll see what we can make out of this. But if I had to bet dollars to donuts, I bet you anything that Mr. Medicare will have a video coming out on that soon, because he's been ragging on that on Twitter lately. So that should be good. Also, check out Gout Police. You guys know who that is. I've been shouting him out for a while. Speaking of which, I'll have links to all these videos in my description. The Gout Police did a video on Phil's future vacation, which that is coming up, by the way. I think that vacation is supposed to be in like May or June. What the Gout Police does is he goes through, or he or she goes through and shows the pattern that Phil has basically established when it comes to vacations. So check that out. The link of that will be in my description also. Let's see. Memology 101 as well as D. I'll have a couple of videos of theirs down in my description. Mainly over Phil's recent rage quit of Extinction, which was a game that was actually donated to him. Or not donated. Was a review copy that was given to him. I plan to do a video on that because right around the time he rage quit that, or he rage quit that session, I should say, Almighty Tevin's video popped up in Kevin's feed, and Kevin sent it to me. It was an old video. It was an older video when Almighty Tevin was going over Phil's Fallout 4. When Phil revealed that he got Fallout 4 for free, or a review copy of that, I should say. So I think that'll coincide with each other because that was a good watch. What else do we have here? Oh, check out James the Lesser Express Lane. He's really making waves for himself in a good way, and his beard is epic. So check that out. He's the one who broke the property tax scheme recently. So by all means, please check out his channel. I will have the link to his property tax video in my description. So please check that out. And yes. So someone I was talking to on Twitter, a friend of ours of the network, a friend of ours just opened up a new gaming channel called Nevernight Gaming. I will have a link to that in my description. It's a new gaming channel that he's starting up, and I think he only has one video up there, maybe two. I think he's going to try to upload a couple times a week. Just go over there, take a look at the video. If you like it, support it. Support the channel. You know what I mean? I want to see this guy do well moving forward. So check that out. And oh, shouts out to Wings of Gout on Twitter, who had pointed something out pretty interesting to me. So Phil has been talking about this whole 30% that he owes in penalties or whatever the case may be as it pertains to his tax, right? Okay. Wings of Gout pointed out that when it comes to tax penalties, late fees, things of that sort, it usually ranges, between 5% and 25%. So where did Phil come up with the 30% from? Similar to this whole $4,000 that he owes over and over again. You see that in his twit longer quite a bit. You owe exactly $4,000 for each one of these situations. How does that happen? And as Almighty Tevin has pointed out, as well as others on Twitter, how much do you actually make? So Phil makes quite a bit more than maybe some of us gave him credit for. I had always said that he was around the 100,000 mark, which, you know, 4,000 for his federal might be right. The tax situation, or what he owes in, you know, state tax, and then all this, that, and the third, it's inflated. His numbers have to be inflated. And that goes into the whole situation with his fundraisers. Almighty Tevin points that Almighty Tevin points that out also. But let me run that by you guys real quick. So first things first, Phil had 3 fundraisers. He had his three fundraisers / special events. As you guys know, his first one was December 30th. Second one was February 28th. The third one was recently for his birthday. Now, the last 2 were absolute disasters. Nothing came out of that whatsoever. And he's been in a decline as it pertains to his subs ever since. I think right now he's in the low 4s, so he's fighting to hold 4. Back in those days, though, let's go back to December 30th. When, this is right after Christmas, and this is when all that big money was starting to come in. Okay, so, Phil had, out of Pay Me Tons, he was at 1372 out of $2,000. That's just for the Patreon. For tips, at least at the beginning of, in the middle of that marathon, I should say, he had 2162.23, and he had 374 subs. By the end of that whole event, his subs was at 379. Thank you to Almighty Tevin for these numbers. And his Pay Me Tons. His Pay Me Tons was at his tips. His tips was at 2649.23. So he basically walked away. Yeah, he walked away with about 4K. He walked away with almost 3,000 in direct donations, but he walked away with about 4K that, after that whole little event on the 30th. It's a good chunk of change. Now, as for the 2 events that followed up, which both of those days, the actual goals for direct donations or Patreon was for about $2,000, give or take. He floundered miserably. Couple $100. I don't think he ever broke 5 on either one of those days. And the sub count was dropping rather steadily in both events. So it's funny how he's on Twitter and he's in his videos saying, "Oh, we're not dying. The stream sub count is not dying, and yet it's in free fall and he won't admit it." So I don't know. I guess that's just active delusion, I suppose. What are you gonna do? Okay, so what's left? Shoutouts. Let's see here. An interesting fact actually that Almighty Tevin had pointed out before we get into the next part of this, of our broadcast here, is Phil has said that he gets paid by Twitch in the middle of the month. Now, if you go back, if you're a longtime fan of Almighty Tevin, you know that he's gone over some of Phil's older videos, and Phil has said the exact same thing about YouTube. One particular situation was Phil was asking for a bunch of donations, or direct donations, whatever, and he was asking for them towards the end of the month for the beginning of the next month. And he was like, "I get paid from YouTube in the middle of that month, but I really need this money right now, so just go ahead and give me as much of it as you can." So, and I remember Almighty Tevin was like, "Why would you guys pay him all this money when he's going to get paid in a couple of days anyway, or he's going to get paid in less than a week? He can wait a week. He doesn't need that money right away if he's going to get paid in the middle of the month." He said that about Phil's YouTube a while back. This is probably in like 2016, maybe something along those lines. If I can find that video, I'll put it in the description. So it's fair to say that Phil gets paid in the middle of the month, basically. So when you see Phil trying to go into I need money, he's usually grinding heavy for that at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month, knowing he's going to get paid in the middle. Just something to think about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into a special little situation right about now. I hope you guys enjoy it. Should be brief, shouldn't be too long, but we thought it was going to be funny. I don't know if it will or not, but hopefully you guys like it. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Phil the Gout. An original piece by GTG Network and Productions. The story of the GoutFather and how he felt embarrassed and yet will require a favor on his former daughter's wedding, or on the day of his former daughter's wedding. Let's proceed. Bring him in. Bring him in. So you come to me. What can I help you with? Well, Don Gout, I need a favor. I'm saying this for some of the other families. I'm hoping that you will consider it. What can I do for you? What is it that you wish? As you know, this is the day of my ex-daughter's wedding to Tyrone. She's very happy today, so I have to fulfill every request that is given to me. What is it that you wish of me? Well, Don Gout, we give you money each month, and when you have these predicaments, as we'll call it, Don, you ask for our help, and we give it to you as much as we can, and we feel that we ask for very little of you. Yes. Continue. So we were hoping that maybe you could put a little bit more effort. You could consider contributing a little bit more time to your content. Maybe not so much of the raw, unedited content anymore, and maybe just a little bit of edits. Maybe with the reviews that you're doing, maybe even though you're going back to the 30-minute reviews now because you believe that you're having success with it, even though your Extinction review is it's not it's not doing well yet, Don, as you may have expected. Yes, but they'll come along though. I just need another YouTuber, a bigger YouTuber, to go ahead and give me a little bit of support, and they'll come through. That's the problem, Don. Talent usually shines on its own. Don't get me wrong. It's okay if another YouTuber shouts you out or uses a portion of your material to move forward, but to rely on a much bigger YouTuber just to make your content, or your reviews in particular, better seems a bit much. What are you trying to say? For the love of Gout, Don, you're saying that this year's gaming season has been kind of slow. Yes, it has. But when God of War comes out, you'll see I'll be back on top. Subs will be there, donations will be there, and I'll be able to take care of the tax problem. I understand that, Don Gout, and with that, I understand. I do. I see that. And I see that cat is looking beautiful. Would you like the piece of my my poke chocolate and peanut butter cake? I'd love to, Don Gout, but I ate a lot before I got here. Maybe later. Oh, okay. Cat, go ahead and see if anybody else out there wants some. See if KG or Vidal would like some, please. Yes. Thank you. As you saw that they have showed up to my ex-daughter's wedding. Yes, I saw Ross is out there too. Are you sure it's safe for him to be out there around all those kids? It'll be fine. Oh, okay. Okay, just a second. Sweetie, go ahead and get our kids and just go ahead and take them out to the car. We're not gonna be here long. Yes, go now, please. Thank you. Okay, so back to what we were saying, Don. So, God of War is supposed to turn everything around. It's supposed to put you back on top. It's supposed to make everything all right. Yes. It's just a matter of time. Okay, it's just a matter of time. Can we try to hurry up with this? I'm a very busy man. Yeah, sure. I can see the long line of people behind me, Don Gout. Philip Lepene. I come out of my mouth. I come out of my own face and say your name. Because, Don Penne, this is important. Is it possible maybe it's just time to give it up? Maybe it's just time to pass the reins on to somebody else? I mean, you say that you're such a busy man, and you say that the power vacuum, if something ever happened to you, Don Gout, would go unfulfilled, but yet everybody has kind of already moved on. Your particular service has been phased out. And as what's left of your fan base, we really would just like you to just put a little bit more effort into your content. The possibility of you bringing new people in is here and there, few and far between. So maybe you'd like to contribute to the people that are here, the people who are supporting you day in, day out, the people that are frontlining for you against the other families. Because I have to be honest with you, Don, I just lost my brother's brother the other day. You know what I mean? We were coming out of a Little Caesars, and I told him not to eat that $5 lunchbox, even though it looked good, but it just looked like it was undercooked. And next thing you know, a bunch of the rival families came up, and to be honest with you, I don't even think they fired any shots. I think he just died from a heart attack. I don't know. It's very possible the fear of the haters and detractors may have done it. I'm just saying. And then if you look at Don Almighty, and then you look at his right hand man and his capo, Argent, and then you look at and then look at one of their other captains, Theo. They're putting in work. Like, they're making us look like idiots out here. Like, people are scared of the rabbit. And it's the cutest little thing ever. We're losing ground out here, Don Gout. We need you need to rally us as a family. We really just want you to put more time back into your content. That's all I have to say, Don. I mean, no respect or no disrespect. I don't know if giving you respect would mean anything anyway, but still, what would you say? Could you at least consider it? Give me a minute. Leave us for a second. You come into my home on the day of my former daughter's wedding to Tyrone, and you say, Don, I have a favor to ask of you, knowing that I have to fulfill that favor. And in turn, you ask me to better my content. The content that I've been doing for 10 years, that has put me to where I'm at. I'm the head of this family for a reason. And you wish for me to change that and take that away from me. Do you not love me? Don Gout, no, let me finish. Do you not love me? Do you not appreciate the years and years of free content that I gave you? The countless hours of entertainment? Don Gout, let me finish. So now, yet again, you come in to my home, to where I'm supposed to feel safe on the day of my former daughter's wedding, and ask me to edit, to put more time and effort, I bring you real experiences. I bring you something true, something real, something beautiful. And you spit that back in my face. Don, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that the time of being real is gone. If you have to sell out, Don, to pay your bills, then you need to do that. What are you trying to say, that I'm not capable of handling my business? You're not. Don, I have 3 children of my own. I wish to send them to college. I wish them not to be in this life. And yet, myself as well as people of our family are giving you money to pay your taxes, to pay for your house. One of your houses, Don. You have another house in Connecticut. How we get here to there and there to here is irrelevant, Don. All I'm saying is, if you just gave if you gave a little bit more, it would help in the long run. Would you at least consider it? I might. You seem stressed, though. I am, Don. I'm sorry. I am. You have a brother, do you not? Someone who likes to go fishing, does he not? Well, yeah, I do. Come by. Ask him to come by this weekend, and I'll have KG take him out on the boat and whatnot. It'll help give him some experiences, and I'll help you relax. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don Gout. Thank you, Don Penne. Yes. I filled the penne. I do what I can for my family. Don't ever forget it. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Almighty Tevin. Praise be Almighty. Praise be Almighty. DSP, a very flawed back tax story. We're not going to actually go through the whole video. We're going to start at about the 1814 mark, and we're going to move on till the end of when he goes over the twit longer. I think it's a very good listen. I think he breaks it down proper, but I also want you to pay attention to how Phil actually worded the twit longer and how he uses smoke and mirrors to try to disorient people. It never really works, to be honest with you, if you don't fall for the Gout Jedi mind tricks. But I still think it's a pretty good listen, and I think it's worth listening to be honest with you. Like I said, the link to Almighty Tevin's full video will be in my description box. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network and productions. You guys all know the slogan. So it's time to watch me work.
Money like that, like talking about. Also, this month has been very slow for Dave. Even though he, in the peak of his taxes, his birthday pass, still been pretty slow when it comes to getting direct donations. It's almost like people just gave DSP money because it was the end of the year and because he begged a lot. Oh well, let's be the breaks. Anyway, back to this. This is gonna be a long video by accident. In addition, my new tax attorney is charging me around $1,000 to file my taxes. I thought he already filed them though. I guess he's paying for it, and then after he doing it, I don't know. This is as expected, as my previous attorney charged me about the same. You mean a dude that fucked you over? Okay. My last weed man charged me like $50 for an ounce, and my new one do that too, so it must be cool. That's expected. You're not just getting fucked over again. The good news, I have raised enough money to pay both these 2017 back taxes and my tax attorney. Both. Wait, what? So, wait, is this $12,000 then? Because I really hope I'm reading this wrong. So he owed $4,000, right? And wait. That's federal, okay? Because it say both. There's no way he owed $4,000 three times. That's the most perfect number ever. Yeah, this is a mean-ass number he pulled out of his ass. So he got his taxes, blah, blah, blah. $4,000 for federal, okay. And he need to pay that by April 17th. He have enough to pay that, all right? In order to get over the state business tax hurdle that he faced in January, which is the one he paid apparently, which was a phantom number, I guess. And because people gave him so much money, he owed $4,000 more than he paid, which is different than the original $4,000. Somebody else gotta understand this better than me. Reading this at face value doesn't make any fucking sense unless the tax people really, really like the number 4. Huh. So he raised enough to pay both 2017 back taxes and his attorney. But does 2017 back taxes mean the years he didn't pay taxes? Because if so, that's just state taxes. 2017 wouldn't necessarily be back taxes. It would just be taxes. The good news, he raised enough money to pay both and an attorney, whatever the fuck he is. The bad news, in addition to everything above, I'm now expected to pay my first estimated tax payment for 2018 by April 17th, and I'm out of another $4,000. So this is a separate $4,000. Yeah, these numbers are bullshit. hey bro, you owe us 4K in back taxes, but also give us 4K in federal taxes, and you owe another 4K in your estimated. That's bullshit. That's no bull. Yeah, no. When you read between the lines, this makes way less sense. This don't even sound reasonable. It just sounds 100% artificial, to be honest. It's a really fake number. He could at least gave us separate numbers instead of just 4 3 times in a row. So if I want to read this the way I'm reading it, this mean he owed $12,000 in taxes. So federal, regular, and then the back taxes, even though we're calling them both back taxes, even though they're not both back taxes. So 4 regular, 4 state, 1,000 attorney, and then 4 estimated. Okay, sure. This sadly I don't have at all. All of my available funds are going to the 2017 taxes and tax attorney filing fees, which is exactly as I feared. I do not realistically see myself raising 4K in the next 9 days to pay this unless a miracle happens. Speaking of 4K in the next 9 days, based on information DSP has given us because he talked too much, he get paid in the middle of the month by Twitch. It's actually pre-streams of him blatantly saying, I get paid by Twitch on insert day here. And if you look at the numbers, he made about $3,500. So I guess that's just all to the bills. And he needs another $4,000 phantom money to pay the actual taxes. That's hot. That is hot. This sadly I don't have at all. All of my available funds are going towards the 2017 state taxes. No, it's 2017 taxes and tax attorney filing fees. But this is exactly as I feared. I do not realistically see myself raising 4K in the next 9 days to pay this unless a miracle happens. Pay up. So sadly, for now, it looks like I'm stuck not paying, meaning I'll begin to accrue late fees and penalties on this unpaid tax. Congratulations. You fit in with about 90% of Americans. You have fees added to your bills. But the tax is not a bill. It don't work that way. If you think taxes can be a bill, you don't know what you're talking about. You must be a kid. That's what he told people. Also have further payments due in June, September, and December. So beg for life. Sounds good. Which I hope to be able to afford with the money I raise between YouTube, Twitch, Patreon, Teespring, and tips. So if things go well this year, I may be in the clear. But it absolutely sucks that I'm going to start off behind and owe these fees and penalties. So he owed $4,000 for his first estimated payment. I just noticed the word first, and I actually caught that. That's not the whole year. He owed $4,000 for his first estimated payment. Is this nigga paying $20,000 in taxes a year?
And see, that's where stuff starts to get a bit disoriented, because inadvertently, Phil is leading us to believe that he makes more money than he's actually making. And I don't know if Phil himself even has caught that yet. Probably hasn't. So, I mean, because his fan base, for the most part, are kids or rather inexperienced, he could just throw these high numbers at them and they're just like, oh, whoa, wow, that's just a lot of money. Yeah, we need to help him. When some of the, I guess, more experienced people on his website and amongst his fan base / cult / whatever you want to call it, are looking through this and being like, well, what exactly is he making? And that's why some of those threads, they're gone now. You might find a few of them archived. Though they don't put Eddie B43's name out there, it's obvious some of them have been looking at Eddie B's numbers and are starting to come to the realization that this isn't looking right. It's really not. So what you're seeing is a bit of a transition in the fact that you're finding more and more of Phil's fan base are migrating over to the detractors, haters, trolls, and whatever, just to get a little bit of clarification. And that's what Phil's trying to fight against, and he can't. So it is what it is. Like the sympathy angle that he's going for, it's about to fade itself out, and he just doesn't see it yet.
Or is his first payment going to be 4K and the other ones are different numbers? How much money are you making, DSP, to be paying this much in taxes? I'm not believing this $4,000 though. That is obviously a round up or a rounded down number. And even then, why would you give us the same number so many times? If you want to be a little more believable, be like, oh yeah, this is like 2,000, this is like 5, this is like 3, 444. You're a Jay-Z fan. Let's see, the worst part, the state business taxes I had to pay in January, plus the attorney fees I already paid to resolve the situation that cost me around $5K. So the state taxes in January, $5K.
Oh, real quick, actually, I'm not sure if you guys actually caught that, but you know how on my Tevin just said 444. He must be a Jay-Z fan. I'm not sure if you guys might have caught the joke, but the joke is that Phil has been shitting on Drake quite a few times from the whole situation with Ninja, going all the way back to like either it was like some type of 2K game or something like that where Drake had a song on that game, and he's been shitting on Drake for a while now. So in a way, Almighty Tevin went ahead and snuck a reference in there. So for all you guys who are like in the hip hop or whatnot, or just follow Phil's bullshit in general, you caught that joke. Praise be Almighty.
He also apparently paid another tax in the beginning of the year that's not necessarily listed, but it say here he got enough to pay both the 2017 back taxes, which isn't even what the situation actually is, but whatever. So 4K plus 1 plus another number he didn't give, and he owed 4 more. But then, in addition to everything above, he owed another 4,000. You see how odd this wording is? I'm gonna assume he just did a bad job at typing, and he just owed $4,000, and not owing 4,000 more. Plus, in addition, in addition to everything above, he owed another 4,000. I'm gonna assume this is one set of $4,000, and not him owing $8,000. Gonna just assume he typed wrong, because DSP is kind of dumb. But Tevin, you kind of dumb because you can't read and you can't understand this fucking cryptic ass text message correctly. Well, there you go. I deny risk blah blah blah. Worst part, state business tax 5,000. I love this, by the way. He's still shifting blame towards this dude. This is all either sue him or get the fuck over it. If my old tax attorney had done his job, you mean the dude you paid $1,000?
And that's another thing that we're going to touch on in another video within this video, is why isn't Phil going to sue this guy? And Phil is given the excuse that, oh, you know, it would be small claims court. I can only get him for fees and this, that, and the third, and yada, yada, yada. Dude, you keep saying that you're about to lose a house. One of your houses. Sorry. You're about to lose one of your houses over this situation, possibly, to pay back this tax. You know what I'm saying? You could even go for, like, you know, suffering and stuff like that if you really want to be a bitch about it. But you keep going on stream and saying that you're going to lose this, that, and the third because of this one guy's mistake, because he didn't let you know, even though in truth you're half of the problem because you should have done your own research. But you entrusted this guy, you paid this guy, you put your well-being in this person's hands, and now that he ain't clapped back at you and messed everything all up, that's your words, Phil, you won't take any repercussions from him. If that's the case, what you're doing, Phil, is you're setting the precedence that anybody could screw you out of $1,000 or up. Well, anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000, and you're not going to sue. So, there you go. You know what I'm saying? We already saw what that escort situation turned into. Guess what's going to come up next this year for you? You just got to be smarter than that. If he's really causing you all these problems, if he really puts you in all this financial straits, if you will, you're not going to take any type of legal action whatsoever. I would think even your own tax attorney, the new one, would have even brought that up. $1,000 is $1,000. I mean, to be honest. And you could probably go ahead and get all the court fees and everything put on him anyway. You know what I mean? So you could essentially walk away clean. Anyway, just throwing it out there.
You paying the new dude $1,000, but even though the old dude didn't even do the same amount of work as the new dude, whatever. If my older tax attorney had done his job, I would actually be in a completely fine place right now. It might have even earned an extra bit of money. Instead, I found myself on the edge of a slippery slope of unpaid federal taxes that could...
That extra bit of money is supposed to be for that vacation coming up, if I had to guess.
...cause me to lose my home. Congratulations, you don't deserve it. in the upcoming year. I'm not reading this the way it's typed, by the way. Oh yeah. Also, they're supposed to be hearing from the state of Washington soon when they complete their assessment of how many unpaid business taxes I owe. So, he paid 2017 federal taxes.
Mm-hmm.
He say, but he say he had enough to pay it. If I'm gonna read this with my broken way of understanding this, he paid $4K already.
Yep.
And he got $4K for 2017 federal taxes.
Mm-hmm.
He also either paid another $4, will have enough to pay another $4, or he put this in twice, because right here say another $4. So who fucking knows? He could have paid $8,000,
and then $1,000
but
to
then
the
it
attorney.
say both. He raised enough money to pay both. So that means he paid $9,000 in taxes. Oh, he raised $9,000.
Actually, it says right. So he's looking at. Let's see here. Good news. Okay, good news. I've raised enough money to pay both the 2017 back taxes and my tax attorney for his service. That would probably be only the $5,000, I think. Like I said, Phil's wording is horrible, but I swear he does it on purpose. I know most people don't want to give him that type of credit, but I feel like he does this on purpose.
And he owe another $4. So he paid federal. This was not the accountant fault, because he was doing his federal taxes. He lumping his shit up to make the situation seem worse and to get more sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
This $4,000 he paid, that has nothing to do with his old attorney. He didn't get fucked over out of that.
Exactly, because the $4,000 that he said he had to pay for federal was what he was going to have to pay anyway. But like I said, he's trying to lump that up with his back taxes that he owes on the business to make the tax attorney look worse, and to obviously gain more sympathy.
The only thing he got fucked over when it come to was the state taxes, because he didn't think he had to give the state anything. He thought it was just going to be able to live there for free, I guess.
And see, but then again, he didn't get fucked over. He did it himself. You know what I mean? Fucked over is that someone put you in a bad position. Phil knew what he was doing. Phil, I still believe firmly that when Phil moved to Washington, he knew what he was doing. One of the reasons why for that is if you go back to like an old pre-stream or something, or one of those old early begging videos when the situation was coming out, he said when they sent him the letter saying that, oh, we believe you owe the state of Washington X amount of money and this is why, he immediately looked at it and he was like, oh, I don't fit these criteria, so no, I don't owe you anything. Phil said that in his own, and that's pretty much Phil's own words, that there must be a mistake, this isn't a business, Dspgaming is a YouTube thing, it's online, I don't fit those criteria. Phil knew what he was doing at the end of the day. No one screwed him. Phil knew what he was doing.
So he paid $9,000 already, or he got $9,000. If you want to read this the way it say, because it say he raised enough to pay both, and then it say here another $4,000. So he paid $9,000. He need another $4,000, and then he still don't know how much back taxes for the state he got. But the issue was him owing state back taxes.
Yep. So how did he use state back tax money, which he got from his fan base? Why is he using that to pay his federal and to pay the tax attorney, which he would have had to pay anyway because he pays someone to do his taxes every year for him anyway? So the way it's kind of looking is he used the money to pay federal tax, his federal tax. He paid his tax attorney. He may have paid some of the state tax that he would have owed for 2017, but he still doesn't know what he owes in his back tax. That right there that number hasn't popped up yet for whatever reason. And then, as Almighty Tevin said, now you got this phantom $4,000 that he needs to come up in 9 days. But like I said, that's why I think this twit longer is written the way it's written. He did it on purpose. It's meant to keep you disoriented. And that's why he throws out the number 4 3 times. Because for Phil, everything comes in threes. I'll do a video on that. I need to talk to D, and I need to talk to D and whatnot, because Phil has this quirk, like this crazy. He has this twitch that I saw recently, and his well, he has a bunch of crazy twitches, but he has this one twitch I recently saw in his extinction review, where like he keeps going back and forth and whatnot, looking to what would be, I guess it'd be him looking to his left. And in that particular video, it stood out to me more than almost all the videos I've ever seen of Phil, because he's almost manic when he did it. And it's just strange how he does that. And it's just one of many quirks that he has. But he also has this thing about doing stuff in threes. If you watch him closely, you might catch it. It's a interesting behavior, to say the very least. Like I said, I'm gonna have to talk to some people first about it before I actually get into that with the rest of the squad. But yeah, just something to look out for.
How much time is the state in this? In order to get me over the state business taxes hurdle. So the state business taxes hurdle is the phantom number. He didn't actually list this number. He only gave us 4K for the federal taxes, which is worthless. This is not what he got fucked over when it come to. This was done correctly. He shouldn't even list that. That's like me saying somebody screwed me over when they sold me a used PlayStation. And then I tell you about it a week later, and I talk about the Xbox I bought that didn't work too. I didn't get screwed out of the broken Xbox though. I broke it. PlayStation was me getting screwed over. The PlayStation is the thing he didn't even get the number to yet. So he paid the $4,000 in federal taxes. Yep. He already would have owed that anyway, no matter what. He got over the state business tax hurdle, which apparently isn't state business taxes. He had to, oh my God, I'm dying trying to comprehend this stuff.
Now see, Tevin's still on the right path, so he's still good. What this does though is it just goes back to what I was saying, where he used this whole tax situation to pay. He's using the tax situation to basically fuel his lifestyle. This is what the new lick is. This is what the new scheme is. Speaking of which, I was under one of it was either under D or Memology 101's video. It was like last week, I think, and I was talking about if anybody releases any more of those Q&A videos, that's going to be the new leak. And what do you guys commented, being like, is it going to be another month until you do a video on that? Probably, but I will do a video on it. I'll try to make sure it's not a month, but you know me. You know me. But back to what back on subject. But that's what the scheme is. And this right here kind of proves it, to be honest with you. Because he's taking money that's supposed to go, at the end of the day, this is supposed to go to back state tax, state business tax. But why is he using some of it for his federal? And then on top of using that for federal, he obviously used that to move Kat in. He obviously used that to take her on her shopping sprees. He did it for all of that. And what he's trying to do is recoup. He's trying to recoup that money so he can now use that towards taxes that are coming up. He overspent, basically, and whatnot. At the end of the day, Phil is trying to pull a Debo, and he's like, I don't want to spend my money, I want to spend your money. That's essentially what he's doing.
Shit, I need to write this down. So, the worst part so far, those state business taxes I had to pay in January, plus the fees I already paid, have cost me around $5K. He giving us the same information over and over again. So, based on information from the end of this post, because it say the state taxes he had to pay, and the attorney fee cost him around $5K. So pretend this part is in the beginning, which gives me the number like I had, $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
So $9,000 he already got.
Yep.
Which is, so I guess I was right about that. Then he owe another $4K. Okay, sure. I guess. Okay, whatever, sure. The worst part though, state business tax.
Now see, here's the thing, when most people were reading this, because me and some of the guys here went through the same thing. If he already got $9,000, you know what I'm saying? If he already used $9,000, he says he already used $5,000 and whatnot, specifically. One went to, $4 went to federal to pay his federal tax, which I've been talking about for a while now, and everybody was like, oh, this is supposed to be about state tax. Nah, it's supposed to be about federal. This was always going to be federal. He was always going to use that money for federal at the end of the day and whatnot. And he was just going to siphon more money out of people. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But he used $4,000 to pay his federal, $1,000 to pay the guy who was doing the work for him. Now, where's the other $4,000? And then he wants another $4,000 on top of that. More than like, well, he probably wants more than that, but he definitely wants another $4,000 on top of that. So it makes you wonder what he actually spent that money on. And that's what Phil can't account for.
You have to pay, cost him $5,000 if his old attorney did his job. Okay. Oh yeah, I also am supposed to be hearing from the state soon when they complete their assessment of how many unpaid business taxes I owe. This is the only thing that matters. The only issue is how many state back taxes he owed. That's the issue. That's what he got fucked over when it come to.
But then why did he throw his federal in there? Wink, wink.
He was supposed to pay federal anyway.
Or oink, oink. Whatever sounds good to you.
The state he already paid is just 1 year. This isn't back taxes. This is taxes he owed. He called it back taxes. It's not back taxes. The $1,000 was to whatever. So that's 9. Another 4.
And this is also why I think we're going to go over that video where he talks about this is the last time I'm going to speak on it unless you guys want an update or so on and so forth. He doesn't want to have to go back and explain this. That's what I think it comes down to, is he doesn't want to have to go through and actually explain his own twitlonger because he knows he'll trip up on his own shit. He wrote it once, maybe twice, and he was like, all right, this is exactly what I need, and then left it at that. That's why he doesn't want to touch back on it. Or at least he doesn't want to approach the twitlonger. He's just like, if you want to know the story, go to this video, go to my Twitter, and that's it.
$4,000 is the first estimated payment. That's, again, not state. That's federal. That's what he always was paying anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing he actually need fan funding for, he don't even have the number yet. I'm glad I read this, and I'm sorry I wasted your time so much on this.
Nah, you
I'm
wasted
glad I
time.
read this the way I read it now. It come together when you get to the end of it. So to sum this dumb shit up, I'm sure somebody else already did this and posted about it somewhere. But I ain't been reading that stuff lately. So to sum this dumb shit up, he owed $4,000. Well, he owed $4,000, but he got it. He owed $1,000 towards the accountant. He got it. He owed another $4,000. He got it. The $4,000 plus the $4,000 plus the $1,000, he was gonna pay that anyway. He literally should not have gotten fan funded for that, because that was taxes he already had been paying for years. Except the state. Because apparently this state business taxes hurdle is the second $4,000, but he didn't list it. Except later he listed and said it cost him around $5,000. But he got the same attorney for both, so that's 9 if you add the other 4. So the state he was supposed to already be paying, this is not back taxes. The federal, this is not back taxes. But he say here to pay both these 2017 back taxes. They're literally not back taxes. Back taxes is the state shit that he got over the course of years that he still don't know the number to. So this whole time, his issue was my back taxes, my back taxes, my back taxes. He still don't know the number. Federal is his responsibility. All of this, his responsibility. But I'm going about this in a way like, the gimmick is supposed to be that the state back taxes, the number he don't have yet, the actual state back taxes from when he went 3 years without paying his taxes, that's supposed to be what he needed help with. He paid his federal, he paid his state for 2017. For some reason he calling this back taxes. It's not necessarily back taxes. Not in the same way of back tax, not in the same way of if you don't pay taxes at all for 3 years. That's back taxes.
But the reason why he calls it back taxes though is because he wasn't planning on paying it. If this whole, situation with the tax, with this whole business tax thing didn't come up, this wouldn't have happened. But so look at it that way. He calls the state, the $4,000 allegedly that he's paying towards the state, he's calling that back tax because he wasn't expecting to pay it. He really thought he was just going to skim on by for another year. That's why he rolls that in as back tax. That's the gimmick, you see. That's the scheme.
But he calling the federal for last year and the state for last year. Back taxes. That's $8,000. 1,000 accountant or attorney. Does he get called the accountant and attorney? Or nah? Is it just attorney? This ain't getting me what I want. Attorney. Actually accrue. Okay. I think he just called him attorney in it, so he didn't get his words mixed up. So he paid back. I'm going over this like 17 times because I'm trying to make sure I think I got this right. So the number he asked, the number he begged for money for, the number he did his drama video about, the video he did in September when he was like, oh, I got some bad news. The number he say he got fucked over because, you know, the dude fucked him over by not doing his state taxes.
Mm-hmm.
He still don't have that number yet.
Nope.
And if he owed $4,000,
and so how does he not have his state tax at this point, his back state taxes? How does he not have that number at this point when he's going to have to pay that really soon? And this goes back to James the Lesser Express Lane and whatnot, where this whole property tax situation comes about, needing $4,000 or $2,000 twice a year, which equals 4 obviously, to pay that on his properties. You see where the scheme comes into? You know what I mean? So the phantom tax that hasn't been, in my opinion, that hasn't been talked about yet, or not talked about, but a number hasn't been thrown out yet, is to cover the property tax. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to cover his federal, he's trying to cover whatever he owes in state now, and he's trying to cover his property tax. He's essentially using crowdfunding to cover his taxes. If he can make that work consistently, then he'll start moving on to his regular bills too, and whatnot. But that means he would have to focus back on Patreon, and if he never stopped focusing on it, he might have actually had it. But that's neither here nor there. All right, I think we're almost done. I've dragged this on a little longer. My apologies, but it's a good listen now.
In 2017 for his taxes. If it's 3 years he owe these people, or even 2 years, that ought to be what, 9-10 grand in? He ought to be fucked. These numbers don't add up. They don't look right. None of this looks right.
Nope.
This looked like it looked like he rounded up a lot or rounded down a lot.
Yep. Wah wah. Another reason is why did he round up?
So he had enough to pay $9 grand. He owe another 4 that he don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And his state back taxes, the thing he got fucked over on, he don't even know the number yet. So he owe $4 grand plus question mark. That's what he actually owes. $4 grand plus question mark. Wow. Ooh, lad. Also, I'm supposed to be hearing from the state of Washington soon when they complete their assessment of how many unpaid business taxes I owe. And that's just another thing. On top of everything, I'm hoping they'll put me on an extended installment payback plan, but that is still uncertain. Unless you Master P, I think they're going to put you on a payment plan. As a matter of fact, Master P didn't go to jail for tax evasion, I think. I don't think he did. I think he just had a big-ass fee he had to pay. I think Wesley Snipes is the only one I can think of that actually went to jail for it. Thanks for the help of the viewers, I'm able to pay my 2017 federal taxes, which is his responsibility.
Yep.
He already knew those existed.
Yep.
And a tax attorney in full. But I thought you was able to pay both. Both. It say right here, I raised enough money to pay both these 2017 back taxes. Then in the end, he's saying he got enough to pay federal and an attorney. But he still owed $4K for his first federal tax payment in 2018.
Boy. And see, the extended payment plan, which is what Phil says he hopes he's going to get, which he'll get, because the government will do whatever they have to do to get their money. If not all of it, at least part of it. That works in Phil's favor too, because now he can be like, okay guys, I got this taxes coming up, because Phil pays taxes, every quarter? He's gonna have to pay like $200 a month or whatever, maybe $400 depending on what he owes, whatever he allegedly owes, I should say. He can sit there and be like, all right guys, this is what the monthly, donation situation is. He has to do that on YouTube, of course, and be like, yo, this is really what I need to try to hit, so I can pay these, these monthly installments on my taxes. And that's what he'll try to do moving forward. How he words it will be interesting, but that's, That's essentially what the scheme's going to look like.
And have nothing to pay that with. This is why people, including me, because I didn't really read this for real until just now, this is why people were saying he wanted $4,000. He kind of don't. He kind of need more than that. If this is all actually true, and if you take this at face value, he need $4,000 plus the state back taxes, the actual back taxes, the thing that the emergency is even about. He still don't know that number yet. So he need $4,000 plus those for real back taxes. The $4,000 is the estimated payment. That's yet again his responsibility. He knew that existed 4 years ago. He knew he had to pay that. The federal shit, he knew he had to pay that since he started doing YouTube full time. So that's not even okay for him to complain about that, in my opinion. It's like if I was to start streaming today and say my light bill high. Oh my God, you guys, my light bill's $200. How much was it last year? It was $200. Why the fuck you complaining about it? That's pretty much what this federal shit is. He owed that. He always owed that. And I have nothing to pay that with. So he don't have the estimated, and he don't even know the actual back tax number. That is hot. Ooh, lad. So I'm starting the year way behind, and if things on Twitch/YouTube don't improve, so if you don't watch the fuck out of his videos or directly give him money, he gonna have to sell his house. Forced to sell it within a year. If a miracle happened and I somehow raised the $4,000 in 9 days, that ain't happening. It will be in an incredibly better position and feel more positive about things than I do now. Give me $4,000 so I can be in a good mood. And instead of saying this game sucks, I'll just say shitty fucking dicks, act. Since I wouldn't be $4,000 behind on my taxes from the get-go and could focus on the future. Yeah, focus on the future, like your actual back taxes number that you still don't know. But that's the reason the emergency even existed. What? Okay. If a miracle happened, blah, 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 since I wouldn't be $4,000, blah, 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 but I'm not really expecting said miracle to happen. Thanks for all your time, and I hope this clears things up. It kinda don't. You paid $4,000 plus phantom number, which is allegedly $4,000, plus $1,000, because it say here, the state business taxes I had to pay in January, plus the fees, cost $5,000. Right here it say over $4,000 for federal. So he paid $9,000 already. He owe another $4,000, plus he owed the actual back state taxes. This post did not clear this up at all. It took me 30 minutes to try to figure out what this even meant. So that's fantastic. Yikes. This is the beginning of this pre-stream.
Alright guys, so that puts that to rest. I really wanted you guys to hear it because one, it was a good listen, and two, yet again, it kind of falls back into what I was saying about how Phil tries to, how you can kind of see what a Phil fan who went to look at that twit longer had to look at, and you're kind of fighting with your own logic because you're wanting to go off what you see, but then immediately common sense hits in and it's like, nah, this don't even, no. And in a lot of ways, because you kind of saw it with Tevin there a little bit, he tried to give him the benefit of the doubt at face value, but logic comes into play, and you can't fight logic at the end of the day. Shouts out to the rapper Logic. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get into the next video, which should be cool, and I'll see you guys in a second.
So now, folks, real quick, it's not going to be a long segment, but I do want to kind of...
All right, guys, we're here with Mr. Stubbs, Dspgaming, not mentioning taxes anymore. Tax lies. Yeah.
Gloss over what I found out about my taxes. In fact, first off, I guess I should do this, all right? Hold on. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the extreme close-up face cam here, but I figured I should show you my taxes. Here they are. There's actually a big thing from my tax attorney that I got yesterday, 2017 taxes. And in here, ridiculous amount of documents and information about, it breaks it down.
I have pictures of it in the video where a lot of people say it's just blank pages. Some people say you can't see the wording because of how the camera light works. I'll be honest with you, looking at the folder that he had it in, it kind of reminded me of if you were going to like an open house to like buy a house or something like that, or a condo or whatnot. It kind of reminded me of that. when I first saw it. That's immediately what the first thing I thought about. But it's neither here or there. And like I said, Phil's such a liar. You don't know what's what anyway. So even if it is real, no one would believe him. So he got that part right. And that's his own fault at the end of the day too. That's not the haters' fault. That's not the detractors' fault. That's not the trolls' fault. That's his own fault. He did it to himself. So
everything that happened over the course of 2017, what I paid, what I owe, the bill that I got from my tax attorney, yada yada yada. It's all right in here. All right. Now I can't show this to you because it has a ridiculous amount of personal information in there. It's got my tax ID number. It's got filing numbers, it's got addresses, it's got all this information that if it leaked, obviously you know exactly what the trolls would do with it. So I'm not going to show you any of that stuff, all right? Some people have suggested, Phil, scan the documents, block out certain areas, and then upload that block to the... It doesn't matter. The bottom line, guys, is it doesn't matter what I show you in here, all right? People will say I lied anyway. People will say it's doctored. People will say I photoshopped it. People will say it's untrue. It doesn't matter what I show you in here. None of it is relevant because people will just immediately just make shit up and say that I lied or whatever, and it's not proof of anything anyway. Okay.
And yet you're still going to ask for money though, even though the piece of evidence that you allegedly have in front of you could exonerate you, so to speak, because obviously no one needs to see all of that information, but you won't do it, which it kind of makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because in turn, if any of that information caught out, like that property tax situation, Phil, you'd have been fucked. You know what I mean? You'd have been screwed. And the fact of where all this money's going, which is one of the big problems you're having now. It's the reason why your streams are falling apart from a sub standpoint. Reason why donations are low, and reason why I would assume more and more threads are being deleted off the King of Hate forums, because people are asking you more and more questions, and you just can't do it anymore. You can't answer it. KG and the rest of those dudes can't answer them fast enough, and so it's becoming more and more of an issue. And like I said, it's of your own making, and you yourself have even accepted it. You don't even have the energy to try to fight it anymore. They call me liars, I'm just going to be a liar and just going to go along with it. You're just going to roll with the punches. And yet again, that's on you at the end of the day. All those times that you had a chance to be honest, all those times where you could have been like, you know what, I don't actually need the extra help, but I would appreciate it, you couldn't do any of that. You felt that it was owed to you, and you just took everything that was coming. So now, and moving forward, since you've kind of bled the cult dry, you've bled the piggies dry a little bit without letting more come on in or recoup and whatnot. You've kind of screwed yourself. All the people that you have in your fan base were giving you money. You've almost bled them to the hilt, and you don't have a new stock of pigs coming in. So there you go. And you did it to yourself. You got too greedy. You pushed a little too hard. And now look at you. Now, if it's true that Kat's only working 4 days, she better pick up 5. Matter of fact, she better pick up 6. Overtime is going to be crucial if you guys are going to keep that house. Just saying.
Okay. That's sad. It's sad that they will. The people who criticize me the most are not logical. They're not logical humans. They will literally make conspiracy theories up. They will say whatever they want. It doesn't matter what I show you. None of it will prove anything. All right.
What do you care what they say anyway? Oh, that's right, because you watch their videos. So that's your own fault yet again. Keep the narrative and don't bring them up. You might be, I would say you're okay, but you probably wouldn't. Because the way you look at that chat is the way you treat detractor videos. You can't help but to look at it. Same thing with Rich from Review Tech USA. He can't help paying attention to anything and everything that goes on Twitter. Hence the reason why allegedly he wants to quit Twitter and automatically trying to apply himself to that situation. That's how he got called out by Keemstar. That's how he got called out by Blockbuster Critic. All that was his own fault. He could have just ignored all of that and nothing would have happened. He fell for the bait. He took it hook, line, and sinker. Just to put that out there.
So, that being said,
shouts out to Anna Doyle. I know that they're on hiatus for the next 3 months, but I'll put the link to their channel in the description. Please check them out. and whatnot, and go over there and support. You know what I mean? Until they get back into the mix, and get back on making those Review Tech USA videos.
Here's what I found out. All right, here's what I found out in a nutshell. I have enough money raised since what I had left over from the end of 2017, plus.
Now, this video was put up on April 8th. As you know, I'm late, and I'm looking at his sub count currently. He's at 413, and the goal is 430. Look at how much listen to how much he's fallen. Seriously.
The money that I've raised between, the earlier months of the year and now, plus some other money that has come in, like for example, my parents gave me a birthday gift and stuff like that. All that. And everything I raised this last week, all that money is enough to, number one, pay off the remaining taxes, okay, that I still have to pay for.
Now, remember that too, by the way, because I'm actually glad he pointed that out, that his parents are still helping him too. And it would make sense that they would. He's their only child. So keep that in mind also, continuing to move forward in 2018, that his parents are still giving him money also. His parents are still enabling him to be the lazy sack of shit that he is. His parents still have his back, as parents should. As parents should. But he's not completely, his back is never completely against the wall. There is always someone who has his back. Just don't forget that.
2017, which are due at the middle of this month, April 17th. And number two, it's enough to pay my tax attorney fees, all right? My remaining taxes are roughly around like $4,000. They're actually a little bit more. I think it's like $4,100 and change. And my tax attorney fees are just under $1,000. So it's around $5,000 that I...
Which is what Almighty Tevin had said. He actually doesn't need the $4,000. He needs a little more. He's closer to 5. In truth, he probably needs closer to 6. But, it's neither here nor there.
But I have enough money to cover all of that. That's about...
Well, I won't say 6. He probably needs closer to like 550. I would have to say. He probably needs closer to 550.
But almost exactly...
Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, he has to put some money away for that, for him and Kat's vacation. That staycation, if you will.
What I raised, but in the last few months, plus...
Speaking of which, guys, if they vlog that, are we going to do an endure on that? I don't really want... Yeah, I guess maybe... We might. We'll see. I don't know. Actually, someone get Asian GTG on the phone. See if he wants to get down for that. So that might be fun.
Plus, like I said, people who were very generous this last week, and in addition, my parents helped me and everything. So the good news is, as of last year's taxes, I'm good to go. I'm not going to be considered in default or back. That would be terrible. If I couldn't pay the 2017 taxes, that would be the absolute worst case scenario. The good news is I'm not in the absolute worst case scenario. So, thumbs up. That's a good thing. Okay?
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Okay.
The bad news is that because I'm self-employed, okay, the government, the feds, expect me to just have magical funds available at all times. They don't actually care about the ups and downs of business. They don't care when your big boom time of the year is or when your slow time of the year is. They just don't give a shit. They expect you every quarter, when you're self-employed, to pay them a certain amount of money. That's how tax...
It's called saving your money. It's called, you've been doing this long enough and whatnot, especially your federal, you've been doing this long enough to know that you have to put X amount of money aside each quarter. Yeah, the government doesn't care about any of that because that's none of their damn business. That's not their problem. How you make your money, you just need to make that money. And you need to put it aside for your taxes. So to sit there and say that the feds don't give a shit, this, that, and the third, and whatnot, and that that's how things work in the U.S., to be honest with you, you should be so glad. Because there's very few countries on this planet that would allow you to sit on your ass and do nothing. That's what he really does now. He does nothing. Does nothing and get paid, enormous amounts of money for it. And all you have to do is break off the government day piece. Let's be honest. That's what it comes down to. So to sit there and say that, oh, they don't care about this, that, and third, that's not they're not supposed to. No one told you to go ahead and spurge and do this, that, and the third to get your new maid there. No one told you to be irresponsible and do DSP tries it every night instead of actually going and cooking something and spanning it over a couple of days. No, that's no one else's fault that you're for your irresponsibility. That's all on you. At the end of the day. And yet again, these are some of the things that he says that it's rather egregious, is because he's got all these kids listening to this nonsense and absorbing this shit, being like, oh yeah, well the U.S. government's going to screw us when we get older too. No, they're not. This is the breaks. This is what happens. If Phil really don't like it, Phil can leave. But he can't. And he won't. Because there's nowhere else that would really let him get away with the shit that he's getting away with. Just saying.
Taxes work in the United States of America. I know that sounds ludicrous. Because, for example, the early months of 2018 have been bad on YouTube. Really bad. Ad revenue is terrible. They did pick up slightly in March a little bit, and now it's back to being terrible again. All right.
Oh, well, I guess you're supposed to save your money then when times are good for the times that are bad. I'm sorry that your parents didn't teach you that, but that's what this is. You've been running a quote-unquote successful business for like 8 or 9 years. You should kind of have this realization. And you have crowdfunding. You should have an understanding of how this all works. Just saying.
So, it's pretty ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that that's how it works, because what they really should look at is what did you actually make income-wise, and now pay it adjusted for that. That's not how it works. They actually just want you to pay an estimated tax fee every quarter. So they actually
if you overpay, they'll give it back to you. They'll give it back to you later on anyway. So, you're gonna leave that out though. You're not gonna let them know that if you overpay on your taxes, that the government actually gives you your money back. Oh, okay, I got you, Phil. I mean, in your case, they won't if you really owe this back state tax, because they're just going to transfer it over there. Or maybe they would still give it to him and he would still have to, and then he would just send it there. I don't know exactly how that works. I'll have to look into that. But, I'll have to look into that actually. But if you overpay, you will get back whatever you've overpaid. The government's pretty good about doing that, for the most part.
Now, on top of the $5,000 that I have to pay right now, $4,100 or whatever for the rest of my 2017 taxes, and the $1,000 I have to pay to my tax attorney for doing my taxes, they also expect me to pay another $4,000, all right, by April 17th for the first tax payment of 2018. Yeah, I know how stupid that really sounds. It does sound stupid, but that's what they expect me to not only be paying the back, but now pay up front. That's not how business works, but that's how taxes work in the U.S., okay? So I'm screwed, and the reason I'm screwed is literally after I pay the 2017 taxes, and
I like how he says this is not how business works. Yeah, he's been doing this and being paid for it, I should say, for the last like 8 or 9 years, and he doesn't have a dime saved up. Or at least that's what he leads on. He doesn't have a dime saved up. And he's been doing this for almost a decade. Think about that. Almost a decade. You know what I mean? He was leasing a really nice car that apparently didn't know that needed an oil change. Whatever. That's a whole nother cluster in itself. He has one condo in Connecticut that I'm theorizing with other people on Twitter that might actually be paid for. It might be. Or he's coming down into his later payments with that, where he's about to finish that up. Then he has another house in Seattle, in Washington, where he lives currently, that he's paying on. You know what I mean? You see how that worked? Like in 10 years, he was able to have himself some pretty nice cars. He owns 2 pieces of property. And when he should have put money away to save, he went on nice vacations. He went ahead and stuffed his face with really nice meals that obviously he didn't have the money to be spending on. He did everything that you shouldn't do. And now he wants you guys to pay for that. He wants you guys to cover his mistakes. He wants you guys to watch his back while he basically lived it up, for a couple of years there. Or a few years, we'll say. Just saying.
My tax attorney, which I have to pay, and I can't be overdue on the tax attorney, I have no money to pay these new taxes at all. It doesn't work like, it sucks. And Jeremy says, could you...
But yet he has money for these new games and whatnot, if the games aren't given to him as review copies, of course, you see. So, it's funny how he still has the money to go and get all this stuff, Cat got a bunch of nice stuff recently, Who paid for all that, Phil? You know what I mean? And why would you get her all these things, Phil? Which we all know you did, knowing that you owe this tax money. I'm not saying that Kat has to throw it on your taxes. That ain't her problem. But you went ahead and purchased a bunch of nice stuff for her too, knowing that you didn't have the money for it, knowing that that money was obligated somewhere else. Just saying. DSP News.
Do a payment plan? Dude, that's not how it works.
A payment plan doesn't work, even though you're hoping that they're going to put you on a payment. Woosah. Let's continue.
You do a payment plan for back taxes to pay them over time. These are new taxes.
If you can't pay your current taxes, they'll put you on a payment plan for that too. Just saying, Phil. And you know that. You know that. I understand that you look at your fan base as nothing more than dumb little kids that need to, creep into their mom and dad's wallets to get their credit cards to give you donations. But eventually, they're going to figure it out. I would hope. That's all one can do, really, is hope.
Accruing over the course of 2018. There's no payment plan for it. All right? They just expect it to be due in the middle of April, no matter what. I don't have it. So, bottom line is, I won't be overdue on my back taxes from last year, but as of my new taxes of this year, I can't pay them. All right? Now, every quarter, they expect me to pay another song. June, September, December. Okay? I'm already gonna be behind. Okay? It sucks. I don't want to be behind, but I am. There's nothing I can do about it. I have no magical funds. I have nothing I can sell. I have no magical funds that I can do to raise tons of money out of nowhere. I can't not pay my other bills. If I don't pay my credit card bills, if I don't pay my loan bills, if I don't pay the electricity and gas, if I don't pay the mortgages, you know what I mean? I get kicked out of my house. I can't operate the business and make money. So I have to do what I have to do. This whole thing sucks. Okay? So that being said, barring a miracle, which is not going to happen, I'm a realist, and I guess I shouldn't say it's not going to happen. It's really very incredibly unlikely. Where am I going to get $4,000 between now and the 17th of April? I really don't foresee it happening at all. I'm just going to be behind. And what's going to happen is there's going to be fees and penalties associated with not paying this payment in April like I'm supposed to. All right? So there's another payment coming up in June. If I can't pay that one, there's going to be more fees, more penalties associated with that. All right? It sucks. And then, September, December are the last two payments. Well, I take it back. It's actually not December. I think it's middle of January, like January 15th. So the good news is, guys, this is not all bad news. I just want to let you know. First of all, the good news is it's not worst case scenario. Absolute worst case scenario would have been, I don't even have enough money to pay my back taxes. Now I'm completely fucked. All right? That's not the situation. Thank God. All right? That's number one. Number two, I have time. And what I mean by that is, even though I'm not going to be paying the taxes immediately when the government wants me to, I still have an opportunity to pay them. All right? The problem is, yes, will there be fees? Will there be, late charges? Probably. But usually, typically from what I find out, it's usually a couple $100 or whatever. It's not like, oh, God, you didn't pay your taxes, so now you owe $10,000 in late fees. That'd be insane. All right, that's not how it works. So really, what I'm looking at is the following. Right now, things are okay on streams, which is great. YouTube sucks right now. I'll be real with you guys. YouTube, it went up and was actually pretty good in March for about half the month. And then as soon as April hit, it tanked again. Because what happened was, I guess they had a bunch of good advertisers for the second half of March. And then those ad contracts ran out. And now YouTube ad revenue is terrible again. And it's funny because my views have not gone down. My views are still good. My views have stayed consistent. But, again, I get penalized for YouTube not doing their jobs and selling ad space. Delightful, right? But Twitch has been... Even
if they did, and this is assuming what Phil says is true. Let's say that, for example, they were slacking. Let's say that the way Phil's saying it, that YouTube is purposely not on their shit because they want to see Philip Burnell, Dspgaming, Darkside Phil fail. Let's just say that's what the scheme is. Let's just say, okay, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That they would risk a whole website to just make sure Phil stays down in the dumps, in the toilet. Okay. Why would they go ahead and help you out in the middle at the end of March, but then screw you over in the beginning of April. Like, why would they even bother helping you in March? And haven't you been saying that YouTube's been terrible since, I don't know, February? Actually, even before that? And then you say that your views are consistent. I don't know if you're seeing what other people are seeing or what I'm seeing, but they're in the toilet, to be honest. Like, like, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at, when you look at his channel sometimes, it makes you wonder, why does he even upload? Why does he even bother with it? Like, chopping them up into these little 10, 15-minute segments or whatever. Excuse me, just upload the whole stream up onto YouTube and just leave it at that. Seriously, if it's supposed to be just an archive channel, just do that. And then you would save yourself that extra 30 minutes at the end of the night so you can spend that with Kat. I'm not, I'm just trying to help you out, Phil. You're not winning either way. And even within the 10 or 15-minute videos, 20-minute videos that you have, most people don't watch all of it anyway. So who cares? So you're still just shooting yourself in the foot. And even if they were able to get those, but let's say that they were, holding Phil back, even if they were able to get those really good ads, why would they give them to you? If YouTube is really dead set on screwing you over, Phil, why would they give you good ads anyway? So even if they were able to get those great advertisements from those really big companies, why would they give them to you? Just saying.
Pretty consistently decent, all right? I can't complain at all about how things go on Twitch. You guys are very supportive every single day. So at least in that regard, things are positive. And what I'm hoping, here's what I'm hoping. I gotta, knock on wood and everything. I can keep things going the way that they're going on Twitch to the point where I can grow the channel. Because the channel has been growing. I don't know if you guys are aware. I've been getting more followers, right? Things have been going good. And when I play new games, or when I play a game that's like a competitive game, like, for example, Street Fighter, okay? Things go good. I get good views or whatever and good contributions. Well, the problem is this has just been a really, really dead year. I mean, this year, how many high-profile games have I played? 2? You know what I mean?
It's only been a couple months, to be honest with you. We're only in April. Like I said, this was recorded on April 8th. How many games did you quit, by the way, Phil? How many games should you have just played out to the end? You know what I mean? And like I said, it's only April. It's only April. It'd be different if this was August, and you might be saying this, July, but you're only in April. We're only 4 months deep.
God of War, coming up in 2 weeks, is pretty much the biggest release of the year so far, and we're a third into the year, guys. That's pathetic. That's like what happened in 2018, where there were no good games in the whole first third of the year. So if I got no good games, no big high-profile stuff, I can't bring in new viewers. And that's what sucks is, look at last year. Resident Evil 7, Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's just 3 games within one major release within the first 3 months of the year that brought in a lot of attention. And this year there's been zero, nada, nothing, right?
And you rush through the majority of those games, which is what Phil does. He rushes all those games through all those games anyway. So he can't even say that, we were spoiled. You didn't appreciate what you had anyway, at the end of the day. And to be honest with you, as was stated before, if you need high-profile games to bring people to you, it's not very good. And as I've said before, as other people have said, if you look at Phil's channel when it comes to a brand new game, the first, I'd say, between 3 to 5 episodes, get high views, and then the one at the end. And that's it. So the 75 to 80 episodes in between, or 80 videos, or whatever you want to call it, in between all that is just dead air. Is dead air. Phil is better off uploading the first 3 episodes and then uploading the last episode and just saving himself all the trouble. He's just continuing to spam YouTube, praying for something to hit. An example of that in some ways is him getting back on his reviews. Okay? He did his Sea of Thieves review. It got a buzz. A buzz. You know what I mean? You guys got a contact high, so to speak. So to speak. Now, he's doing then he has the Extinction one, which he tried to go at it, from a negative angle. And I think at the time that I'm recording this, he still has less than 2,000 views on it. Like I said, Phil, you had one home run, but there was nobody on base. It was just you trotting around. You got one. Good for you. You cannot expect that each and every one of them is going to be a grand slam. Okay? You got your home run. The pitcher was feeling some sympathy for you, and there you go. The fact that you really, really believed that your next review was going to be a real hit, it stuns me to no degree. Absolutely shocked. But it's neither here nor there. DSP logic for you. DSP news.
So that being said, what I'm hoping is to get a build. All right. So what do I mean by a build? I mean that coming up, for example, we got God of War. Then in May, we got State of Decay 2, Detroit Become Human, the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection.
You're expecting to get a bill for those games? What? I'm confused.
Over the summer, we're actually setting the stage. It looks like there's maybe some pretty high-profile stuff coming out over the summer. Keep in mind, over the summer, I'll be doing my Bloodborne Redemption run, which
no one cares about.
I think a lot of people are very much looking forward to. Okay, I may return to Persona.
You mean like that Metal Gear Solid Redemption runs we saw? Yeah, I saw everybody coming out in droves for that.
5 during the summer to finish it up since I had no opportunity.
Matter of fact, I remember, I can't remember if he was doing Metal Gear Solid 2 at the time or 3. I can't remember which one it was. But I came home and I saw David Davison actually going through and actually playing it. He was playing the game on his stream while in a small box to the corner, Phil was playing it in real time. And I remember just watching David Davison go through it. I thought I was way more entertained than watching Phil do it. So when I jumped over to Phil, so I think David Davison had, I don't know, he must have had 1,000 people. He had a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 people. I went over there to Phil, he had like 200 or 300 people. So that gives you, that kind of shows you the levels of talent there. You know what I mean? To be honest with you. I mean, granted, David Davison could have played anything, and people would have came out in droves to see it. Whereas Phil was doing this redemption run, and no one cared. Everybody was just waiting to see who was going to do it. This is how you don't play on it. So, there you go, Phil.
I need to do so last year, okay? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, all right? What I'm hoping, and this is being as positive as I can, trying to have a positive outlook on the future, that the streaming situation will grow and build and become more and more successful to the point where by the end of the year, especially with all the high-profile releases that come out at the end of the year, guys, I'll be able to make up for all this. I'll be making extra money in the latter half of the year, right? That will be more than enough to pay for the taxes I can't pay now. Okay, that's what I'm hoping. Is it necessarily going to happen? I have no idea. But that's what I'm hoping for. And what I'm really hoping for here is...
Then you better pray to God that you ask for a payment plan and they give you one, because if not, all of the fees that you would incur month after month after month would end up screwing you in the end by a large margin. Not this 30% thing that you keep talking about, somewhere between 5 and 25%. But you're going to take a hit if that's the case. You better hope that they put you on a monthly plan with no interest so you can just pay that off each month. Just saying.
Focusing in on being positive every day, having fun with you guys on stream, growing the channel in any way that I can.
Every day.
All right. Within reason. All right.
Within reason.
I'll give you an example. The other night, I was playing pub.
Oh, what do you mean within reason? Phil, your channel's dying. Stream is damn near dying. You better be doing anything and everything to make shit work. I'm not saying that you have to put Kat in something nice and have her trot around like you used to do to Panda. I'm not saying you have to do that. But good God, man, you better, anything that your fan base asks you for, you should be doing it. You really should. It's not even about choice anymore. Hey, I need you guys' help. What do you want to see to better the chances that you'll contribute? That's what you need to be doing. Okay? You can't say that you have some pride about this when you're asking people who are, damn near 20 years your junior to give you money. To pay for your houses, to pay your taxes, to pay your bills. Just saying.
After 12 hours of working on my birthday, my girlfriend was waiting for me in the bedroom, saying, "Come out and spend some time with me because I'm tired. I gotta go to sleep, but I at least want to have some time with you today."
First off, he didn't put in 12 hours. By the way, I think he put in, it was like 9 hours maybe. It wasn't 12 hours. Phil has never put 12 hours in his life, so that's the first thing with that. Second thing with Cat wanting to give you some kitty. What's another 30, 35 minutes, man? She can wait. She's been waiting all day already. She can wait. She can wait another 45 minutes. Seriously. But whatever.
And I'm ending the stream, and then Cryotic, another very popular streamer on Twitch, hosted me and rated me, and a bunch of people jump on the stream, 1,000 viewers or whatever. And I'm like, well, guys, it's great that you're here. I appreciate it. Sadly, I have to go. And people gave me shit for that. Oh my God, Phil, you're in a situation where you need money, and then you had more than 1,000 people coming in, and you didn't stick around. Guys, I was streaming all day fucking long. It wasn't like I had just started streaming, right? And then I was like, oh, I'm out of here now. Dude, it's a completely different situation than that. And by the way, I do want to say shout out to Cryotic. He's a good guy. Every once in a while he comes in, he raids the streams, and it's a positive raid. He does a raid correctly. As people come in, they're very nice. They're not jerks or anything. They come in and they're actually, very respectful. And it seems like he has a pretty good viewing audience. And, I don't want to in any way disrespect him because I think it was, he doesn't know when I'm going to stop streaming, It was a nice thing that he did. It was a nice gesture, and I think he did it because it was my birthday. But, I'm in a situation here where, within reason, I've been streaming all day long.
Okay, let me cut in. First off, shouts out to Cryotic, by the way. You guys should check out his YouTube videos. I'm subbed to his channel. Check out his streams. He's an entertaining guy. He's a very entertaining guy. And Cryotic has been one of those guys who has offered to stream with Phil to help bring him basically attention. You know what I mean? And unlike most people who say they want to help Phil and well, I'd say most people who try to reach out to Phil really don't want anything in return, plus or minus a couple people. He really wants to see Phil do well. Now, as it pertains to this situation, I want you to think about this for a minute. So let's say, Bill Burnell, he streams and whatnot. I enjoy watching his streams too, by the way. Let's say me and him are streaming. We're not streaming together, but let's say we're both streaming. And let's say he finishes his stream before mine. And he's like, you know what, guys? Hey, man, GTG is streaming right now. So let's go over there. Let's raid him and whatnot. Let's give our boy some support. You know what I'm saying? He's a nice guy and whatnot. I joke with him on Twitter. Let's just go over there. Let's go over there and see what's up with him. And, we'll spend another half hour to an hour over there. All right. So they fall through. And let's say that I've been streaming for 8 hours. And all these people come through and they're like, hey, man, BP sent us over, man. We just want to check you guys out. We want to check you guys out and whatever. Okay. I could be dead tired at that point. And I could be like, you know what, man? All right, why not? You know what I mean? Why not? You know what I mean? A bunch of you guys are over here. Some of you may have never been on my stream before. Maybe some of you guys have. Why not, man? I can shoot the shit for you guys for a little while. No big deal. You know what I mean? Almighty Tevin had said something similar to this. You accommodate people when they take the time to do stuff for you like that. So whether it's, in my particular case, whether it's like 10 people or it's 100 people, you guys took the time to come over. Hey, man, I can throw something up for you guys, or we can shoot the shit for a little while, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? As long as I don't have like a blistering headache or some shit, dude, then it's whatever, man. And even then, I can just I can work that out. It's no big deal. When people go out of their way for you, you have to appreciate it. That's just human decency. Since Phil wants to talk about like a human, it's just a decency type situation. It really is. I'm not saying that Cat's not important. What I'm saying is that this is your business. This is how you're making your money. This is what allows Cat to be in that bedroom and whatnot, waiting on your ass. So you can accommodate these people for 40, 45 minutes. It's not even a matter if they're going to give you money or not. You just got a boost in viewership. You've got 2,000 plus eyes on you who probably never saw you or even knew who you were up till that point. You have to take advantage of opportunities when they're presented to you. Because if not, you're going to fall behind. You're going to become stagnant. Not everybody gets those type of opportunities. So when you do, you have to take advantage of them. And that's the problem with Phil Burnell, is that DSP. When those type of opportunities are presented to him, he never takes them. He feels it's almost, I wouldn't necessarily, in some cases I would say he feels like they're beneath him. But he I don't know if it's just common sense. I don't know if it's common decency. I don't know what it is. I can't even really explain it to you. It's just, there's something in his own head where he was like, oh, I don't want a handout. Let's go with that. I don't want a handout from Cryotic, who brought 2,000 people to me. But I want my own fan base to pay my bills month after month after month. Do you see what I'm saying? That sense of logic doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's throwing pearls upon swine. That's pretty much what it was. This guy came over, finished his stream, decided to bring 2,000 plus people, 2,000 or 1,000 to 2,000 people over to you and whatnot, and you pissed that opportunity away. Was that whole 2,000 people, was that group of 2,000 people going to show up? Not the next day because he took off. So Sunday or Monday, were all 2,000 of those people going to show up? No. A couple of hundred might have. 50 of them might have. 20 of them might have. Those are what the building blocks are of a business. Those are what the building blocks are of just building a viewership in general. Someone with business sense would know that. DSP News.
Streaming all week long, nonstop. It's the end of my birthday. I've had 0 moments to spend with my girlfriend all day because I've been working all day. Sorry, I'm not going to stay streaming for another hour in the hopes of raising a few shekels or whatever the hell. It's just, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Sorry, and I made the right decision, by the way, because we had some nice quality time together. It was like, you know what? I made the right decision. Ended up having a good end of my birthday rather than sitting here on stream like an idiot for an extra hour. No point in it, okay? So that being said, yeah.
Let me write that down. Sitting on stream for another hour like an idiot. When someone else came to his aid, because that's what it was. He needed that influx of people. He didn't feel the need to sit down on his ass, to sit there on stream and accommodate these people for another hour like an idiot. Let me make sure I write that down. That's important.
Guys, you know, I'm going to do everything within reason this year that I absolutely can.
When you say within reason, by the way, or at least when Phil does, it's, I'm not going to exert myself more than what I'm already doing. That's basically what the translation is. You know what I mean? If I got to put this in subtitles or something, that's what the translations are. That's what that translation is, I should say. I'm going to do whatever I have to do within reason. Meaning that I'm not going to do anything more than what I'm already doing. I'm not going to go over my time limit or over my business hours any more than I have to. I'm not going to open up early for business any more than I have to. So anybody else who wants to raid my streams positively, or whatever the case may be, they better be there on my schedule, on my time. Just saying. DSP News.
Keep the streams positive, to grow the channel, to keep stuff going positive, all right? And hopefully things will work out well. What I'm hoping is by the end of this year, like I said, we'll see a big uptick with all the big new releases coming out. You know, we'll see a lot more people coming in and watching my stuff and contributing. It'll be great. And hopefully by the end of this year, your things keep growing the way that they have been, because, you know, Twitch is the only place I'm growing. YouTube, forget it. YouTube's a dead horse. But Twitch, there's a lot of positivity and a lot of positive things coming out of it.
But didn't you say, though, that your views were still pretty steady, though? So you still got the viewership, even if you're not getting all the money that's coming from it. Just saying.
Okay, all right. So that's what I'm hoping for. Is by the end of the year, things go good. And then, you know, January 15th or whatever, any remaining taxes I wasn't able to pay, I can pay them. Okay? Will it actually go that way? I have no idea. I honestly have no idea, you know. It might not. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Well, I think what I need to do is stay positive, you know. Should I really sit here and every day be worried in the back of my head that I can't pay my taxes this year? By the end of the year, now I have to sell my house in order to pay them? I mean, no. I mean, yeah, it's always going to be nagging at me. But me sitting here harping on it every day isn't beneficial to you, isn't beneficial to me. It doesn't benefit anyone. What I really need to do is, at this point, now that I know the situation I'm in, moving forward. I just need to focus on the positive and hope for the best, you know. And the bottom line is you guys have been really, really supportive, and, you know, every once in a while, some really awesome thing happens. Someone comes in and leaves a giant tip, and I'm like, wow, you know, that certainly wasn't expecting that, and that brightens my day up and makes me feel a little better. And undoubtedly, those things will probably keep happening, and that's awesome. And thank you guys who've stuck in. And I know it's very, very tiring for those of you who are here every day, and you got to hear about a tax situation, you got to hear about tips, you got to hear. You don't want to hear that shit.
You're gonna say that now after 5 or 6 months? 5 months. I think 5 months. You're gonna say that now after 5 months. And then you say that, you know what I'm saying, you want things that, you hope things will work out, but you're not willing to put in the time or do anything extra to make sure that they work out. Or at least to put your best foot forward. To at least show people that, hey, I'm here and I'm trying. You just want to hope that it works out. You want to hope that people will give you money so it brightens up your day. You hope that people will come into your comments, into your chat, and stay on topics of pop culture, air quotes, that fits into your particular narrative so it can be much more engaging. You hope that these developers and these game makers will make games, these AAA games, that will save your ass, even though more often than not, you're going to rage quit some of them anyway. It's funny how this is his business. This is his craft. And yet, he depends on all these other people to make it work. Where's everybody else's paychecks, Phil? You know, are they going to get bonuses at the end of the year? At all? Anything? Just saying. DSP News.
No, you're just here to hang out and have fun. But the reason I had to do it very, very matter-of-factly is because I had to do as good as I can. If I didn't even raise enough to pay my back taxes, okay, this would have been an incredibly dire situation. As in, I probably would have had to put my house on the market now. Thank God that's not the situation. All right, thank God. But that being said, it's certainly, we're not in a great situation here either. It's kind of like, it's certainly not the worst case scenario, but it's certainly not the best case scenario. It's just kind of middle of the road. Okay, let's see how things go this year. All right, guys? So there you go. Thank you guys very much for being patient. And by the way, this is it. I'm not going to be bringing this up anymore. This is not going to be a major topic of discussion. Only if something crazy happens where I may need your help. Let's say, for example, I don't know, I break my leg, and now I get a freaking hospital bill for $10,000 that I can't pay. Then I would probably bring something up. But outside of that, I think we're just going to proceed forward, business as usual. All right. There's no reason for me to be harping on this anymore. Tax season is now over. And
what Phil's doing here, by the way, in my opinion, of course, is he's easing back, basically, so he can, in the hopes that more people will come to his streams without being bombarded with, I need tax money, I need tax money, I need tax money. Excuse me. He's doubling down to try to bring more viewership in, and more importantly, for the people that are already coming to his streams, you know, the dedicated followers, dedicated followers. He is giving them a little bit more time and taking off some of that pressure so they can build their bankrolls up, so they can give him more money towards the middle of the year and inevitably at the end of the year. That's what this is all about. And it's funny how it took him this long to figure out how to manipulate his fan base. Other people do it way better than Phil does without looking like assholes, but that's what Phil's doing, in my opinion. That's what the plan is. You know what I mean? He's scared off too many people. He's pissed off too many people, and that's why he's doubling down. The whole situation with him bringing out the tax papers or whatever is because he played his cards a little too close the week before, and nothing came out of it. And now all of a sudden, you know, it was a complete failure last week, and now all of a sudden, oh, I'm bringing out my taxes, guys. This is what I owe now. It's amazing how the timing for that happened. I talked about that in the last video, but it's neither here nor there.
And, you know, let's just keep moving. Let's just keep getting things going the way that they've been going. All right? Fair enough? Now, obviously, at the end of the year, you know, once I see how things are going, if you guys would like an update, I will let you know. I mean, that would be the time, I think. At the end of the year, after we covered all the new releases and things are probably hype and exciting and positive, then maybe I'll bring it back up as a subject. But here's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be very matter-of-factly. I'm going to ask you guys, please don't bring it up anymore. I'm going to do my best to not bring it up. Please do not bring it up anymore. I've not talked about it on this pre-stream. I've done a tweet longer about it. It's out there. It's public. That's it. There's no reason to keep harping on it. You know. And please don't go, I don't know, I'm going to bait Phil. I'm going to cheer and ask him about his taxes. I'm just not going to answer it. I'm going to be like, great. If you want the information, I already talked about it. Go look back. I'm not going to bother with it anymore. There's no point. You guys don't want to know about, you don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I didn't want to talk about it to begin with. This whole thing has been a nightmare. Really, seriously, like, this was a nightmare scenario. Because last year, if you guys remember, things were very...
I don't want to talk about it anymore, but I'm going to proceed to talk about it. Gotcha.
Positive. Things were going great during the summer months, and we were heading right into the hardcore gaming season, and things were great. And then I got this big bombshell that I owed back state taxes that just caused this whole rolling domino effect of problems with my taxes to happen. And it was like the biggest nightmare ever, because I never once fathomed that my tax attorney in Connecticut was screwing me over. Never. But he was. You know, and you kind of got to shrug and be like, this sucks, but what can you do? So it's been a nightmare since then. Ever since I revealed this to you guys, what was it, November? It's been an ongoing issue for 5 straight months where I keep mentioning it because it's just so shitty. But at this point, you know what I mean? Barring a $4,000 miracle in the next 9 days, which I'm a realist, it's probably not going to happen. It's incredibly unlikely. I don't know how the hell I would raise that much money in a short amount of time. I'm just going to be in the situation I'm in. I'll keep working my ass off here on stream every day for you guys. And let's just have fun and see what the future holds. Sounds good, guys? All right, that's it. Actually, let me go put down my tax stuff back on my desk, and I'm going to turn off my speakers while I do this. Hold on. Okay. Phew. All right, guys. So, very good. The Aston Martin, sure, 25 bits. He said the reason people gave you crap about leaving when you were rated is because every stream you bring up taxes. That's right, Aston Martin. But when do I bring up taxes? I bring them up on the pre-stream, and that's it. If you haven't noticed, when I play the game, it's about the games. If someone asks me with a cheer about it, then yeah, I'll address it. But I have a plug segment, and that's where I leave the plugs. All right? This is what I mean. I think every streamer should do that, and I know a lot don't. But that's what I'm all about. Once the gameplay...
Yeah, don't talk about what other streamers should do. Get your own shit together first before you start casting stones at somebody else.
Starts, it's all about gameplay and interacting with you guys. It's not about plugs, help me, money, and shit like that. It's not. I've been already streaming on my birthday. All right, for roughly 12 hours. I had about a 90-minute break to quickly have a dinner, and then I rushed right back to stream. I was tired, and I hadn't spent any time with my girlfriend during the day. So if you can't understand the fact that at the very end of a tail end of 12 hours of work is not a good time for a raid to happen and for me to stream longer when my girlfriend is waiting for me, you are just immature. I don't know what else to tell you. You're uneducated and you're immature.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you don't help people like this. This is exactly why you do not help people like this. People who are self-centered, ungrateful, absolutely ungrateful, you know what I'm saying, just pieces of human garbage like this, you don't help them. You don't. Because they don't deserve it. They don't appreciate it. You know what I mean? If it didn't fit in little Phil's time frame, he doesn't care. And that's really what this comes down to. So someone basically brought him a birthday gift, and Phil's like, oh, I don't really like this. And then just chucked it in the trash in front of him. That's basically what Phil did. That's essentially what Phil did on his birthday. For someone who went out of his way to get him something nice. There you go.
It's the case because there are things far more important than getting in an extra half an hour to make a couple extra bucks. And when you finally realize that in life...
but yet you're going to be back on stream in another day or so asking for that tax money. Okay. Gotcha.
You will be far ahead of the curve. Apparently you're not yet. All right, guys. Thanks for being patient. I know it was a longer pre-stream. I hope that now, you guys are now more than...
Like I said earlier on this video, this particular video by Mr. Stuffs was recorded April 8th.
Know the situation. I've been completely transparent with you guys. All right. One final thing, because someone did ask that. Someone did ask something, and I want to clarify. Someone said, "Well, Phil, everything you just talked about. Okay, you talked about federal taxes. What about this state tax situation? I don't know anything about it. The state of Washington is still in the process of doing an audit, and they're supposed to tell me the assessment of what the state back taxes are that I owe. They said they would either be late March or April. Here we are, 8 days into April. I've heard not a peep from them. Okay? Eventually, sometime this year, they're going to come to me and they're going to say, here's what you owe. But what I'm hoping is that they'll work with me, and they, since those are back taxes, will work out a payment plan. Okay? So if it's a payment plan of hundreds of dollars a month, that I could do. That's easy. If they tell me, oh, you owe thousands of dollars due immediately, they're screwed. I'm just going to tell them, listen, you're not going to get your money, so you better work with me, or else, I can't afford it. Okay.
They better work with you or what? See, yet again, you can't dictate anything to the government. The government doesn't have to sit there and be like, the government's willing to work with you. But if you come at them with this machinima-like attitude, like this Blip TV type attitude, they're really going to fuck you, Phil. They really can. You catch the wrong tax agent on the wrong day with the wrong type of attitude, and that's your ass. And that's yet again, this is what happens when you have someone who believes that he's owed more than what he's worth. You know what I mean? Everybody has some type of worth. Phil has overestimated what his own worth is. He's been doing it for years.
Okay. So, there you go, guys. All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, by the way, here we go. Beyondichuk just says something really cool that I want to read. He says, the trolls are so transparent. First, they say DSP is obsessed about money. He only cares about tips. But then when he leaves early to go do adult things in real life, when he's being rated on stream, they complain that Phil didn't stay for another 30 minutes to make more money. I mean, how hypocritical is that? Yeah, you're right.
30 minutes is reasonable. An hour is reasonable when someone did you a solid. Just saying.
It's 100% hypocritical, and that's why I don't care anymore. That's why the people, show us scans of your taxes. Get the fuck out of here. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not a complete idiot. Like, I don't realize that you guys are just trying to get information, personal information about me to hurt me even further. I'm not a moron. And anything I show you guys, you'll just be hypocritical, and you'll spit it and say I made it up anyway. There's no point.
Not a moron.
So there you go. All right.
That's great.
Hold on a second. It's honestly refreshing.
Not a moron. That's great.
That now I don't have to just constantly be talking about this shit anymore. Really. From now on, I'll let you know the ways to contribute on the plugs, and that's it. I'm not going to be mentioning taxes or nothing like that. I'm done with it. There's no reason for me to be bringing it up. You know what I mean? You guys now know the situation. Could a miracle happen within 9 days? Incredibly unlikely. And all I can really do is stay positive and keep working at it and do what I can and see what happens at the end of this year. Okay, guys?
This is going to be great.
All right. And AES0411 cheered. Says, I think it would be a good idea to not address trolls from this point onward. If they make a comment, ignore them or boot them. No need to get suspended again. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to insult people or anything like that. You know what I mean?
You mean after you guys suspended the second time?
I'm not. I learned my lesson. I'm not going to fly off the handle and start insulting people left and right anymore or bringing stuff up like that. There's no point. If someone's trolling, I've been told directly by Twitch, if someone trolls me, I can call them an idiot or a jerk or whatever I need to do and just kick them. That's okay. So when
you need to call somebody an idiot or a jerk just to ban them? Is that what streaming is? Because people ask me to stream. I don't know if it's going to be entertaining, but, eventually, we'll get to it, hopefully, maybe. But is that what I have to do? Like, if someone comes in and is like, oh, you suck, and DSP's great, do I have to insult them before I ban them? Do I really even need to ban them? I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Here we go. The things that are going to violate the terms of service, like someone's personal appearance and stuff like that, that's what's going to get into the realm of bad timing or bad situation with moderation and the like here. So, it'll be all right. No worries.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, guys. I will see you guys for the next video in just a second.
Yeah, a big yawn. Ooh.
All right, guys, we are here with yet again, Mr. Stuff's Dspgaming, Hereditary Gout, and Blank Taxes. This was recorded on April 9th, 2018.
I wake up here. Didn't have anything special. Someone asked me what I had for dinner. Nothing special. We had turkey burgers. We had turkey burgers, which is a turkey patty that I season with pepper and salt, with a slice of cheese, melted slice of cheese, on a Hawaiian bun with honey mustard, a fresh green leaf lettuce, 2 fresh slices of tomato, and some red onion. That was my dinner. Well, plus I had a little bit of potato salad on the side. That was my dinner with a cherry juice. The reason I drink cherry juice is because it helps lower my acid levels, keeps my acid levels in check and in balance, so that I don't have a reoccurring issue like I had a couple years ago with my joints and my foot swelling up. So that was my delicious,
AKA the gout,
dinner. There you go. What's up, Sky Sands? Good evening. Good to see ya.
Riveting. Sipping on that cherry juice like a gangster, apparently. Like a true businessman. Can't drink scotch or bourbon or whiskey.
The Popsicle says Phil used to have so much acid in his blood, really thought he was an alien. Well, truth be told, I never knew I had this issue. It's actually a hereditary issue, which I didn't know, because my parents, I had asked them, did you ever have anything like this? No. So come to find out, after I had this issue.
Oh my god. Gout is hereditary. I mean, if we've done a video on gout before. Oh my god. But like, Phil's really going to blame. Phil isn't going to take responsibility for his eating habits and all of his gorging and everything else. It's his parents' fault. It's his bloodline's fault. His blood cursed him with gout. He could do nothing about it. It wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? I didn't ask to be, I didn't ask to be born into this world. I was. And I was born with a disposition of gout. You know what I mean? He wasn't born with hemophilia or anything else. He was born with gout. And it's been plaguing me for all my life. And my parents kept this from me because they wanted to keep me so sheltered and safe. Don't worry, little Philip. There's nothing bad with you. And then 20 plus years later, he has gout. And it's not his fault, it's his family's fault. Because he doesn't want to exercise. He doesn't want to eat right. He doesn't want to just exercise any type of moderation whatsoever. It's his family's fault. For the gout. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It was 2005 when I had this bad issue, had to go to the doctor for it.
Oh my God.
And I had to completely change my diet in order to avoid having too many high acid levels in my body. In particular, I had to cut back way big amount on red meat. Red meat in particular is the worst. Red meat, shellfish, that kind of stuff really ramps up the acid levels in your body.
In your body.
And that being said, sadly, I didn't know that this was an issue that I was ever going to have. Then I find out my aunt had it. My aunt had it her whole life, but she never told anybody. So it was funny because
I'm not sure if that's something you bring up at Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, hey, Aunt, how are you? Well, whatever her name is. Hey, how are you doing? I'm okay. I've had gout. I've been fighting it for like 40 years. And then everybody just looked around like, pass the stuffing and the penne. Easy to eat.
I got it. My mom asked all the relatives, and
I'm sorry, that's not funny. But it is funny, but it's not funny. But yeah, yet again, like I don't think that's something that she needs to bring up. I mean, let's be honest. You take good care of yourself, you probably could have avoided that. Just saying.
Says, oh yeah, I got that. It's like, what the hell? So I had a direct blood relative who actually had it, and I didn't know. If I had known, I probably would have done dietary changes and stuff earlier in my life, but...
Sure you would have.
There you go.
Sure. Okay. One day, by the way, because some of the guys here in the office want to do it, we're going to go over some of his old DSP trizits and whatnot. I definitely want to go over... We're going to go over some DSP trizits. And it should be fun. I don't know exactly what we're going to start with yet, to be honest. I'll make a video, announcing that. And then if you guys have some you guys want to recommend an episode to start off with first, you can put it down in the comment section below. But we're gonna definitely do some of those periodically, and just to see where the gout came from, just to see Philip back in those early days when he was just kind of all out there, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, not taking care of himself, not doing what he needed to do, not thinking about his future in any type of way, shape, or form, to make the man that he is now. I think that's going to be a great little series we're going to do. Not sure what I'm going to call it yet, though, but it'll be something. DSP, it'll be like GTG presents the gout, or I don't know, something. We'll see how not to get gout. Presented by GTG. I don't know. We'll work something out. It'll be fun.
But the good news is, I'm good. I haven't now in over 2 years. No, it was the summer. It was the summer of. Hold on a second. The last major time I had it was the fall of 2005. I had some minor issues with it over the years. I think the last time I actually had a major full-on, oh my god, my foot swelled up and I can't walk, was 2006. So it's been 2 years. And I'm good now. And the thing is, I'm eating a lot healthier now. I'm not constantly eating red meat, shellfish, you get a lot more lean meats, a lot more chicken, a lot more turkey.
Yes, like Phil was sitting there cooking shellfish every weekend and whatnot. He was making these big Italian dinners and whatnot, where he was having like chicken and veal cutlets and whatnot and all this stuff. And he was making like huge like steaks and roasts and things of that sort. Sure, Phil. Sure.
Kind of stuff. And it's turning out well. Let's put it that way. Okay. Is it true that it comes back if you eat too much acid again? Yeah. Like if I right now, for 3 days straight, ate red meat and shellfish, my foot would swell up like a balloon and I'd be in excruciating pain. It's just an acid level issue with your body that I have. It's hereditary. It sucks.
So not that I can do anything about it. It's hereditary, so I can't do anything. Gotcha.
That's right. I'm in 2008. I don't know about you guys. You guys may be living in 2018. I'm living in 2008. Okay? I'm only 26 years old.
And the funny thing is, mentally, I think that's really the case. If you think about how he talks about his business and everything like that, he talks about YouTube should be working for him the same way it was working for him back in 2008, 2009, 2010. That's kind of where his mindset's at in a lot of ways. I would say it's funny if it wasn't so sad.
You guys may be living in the future. I'm in the past, baby. way before the current political climate we're in. There you go. Oh, you guys want to laugh? You want a good laugh with some of the conspiracy theories going on right now? With the idiots, the usual jabronis who say stupid shit about me. So, yesterday on pre-stream, I showed you guys my tax information, the folder of tax papers that my new tax attorney gave me. Right, it's a big professional-looking thing. It's got it's got 2 different sections. One has all the documents I need to.
Big professional-looking thing. It's a folder. At the end of the day, it's a folder. It's a folder with paper in it. That's all it is. It's nothing more extravagant than that.
To mail in with my payments. The other is like all my full tax return.
That's amazing.
It's in this nice blue folder. Okay. So I very briefly yesterday showed it on pre-stream. The camera quality was 480p and it was a square screen. Okay. These idiots freeze framed this and said, Phil, those weren't real taxes. If you freeze frame, you can see those. It's a folder full of blank papers. Idiots.
You hear that forced laugh, by the way? It gives him away, and he doesn't realize it. It gives him away.
480p camera in motion. They're trying to freeze frame it, thinking they're going to get an accurate freeze frame, and like they're going to catch all the text. Because what they were trying to do, of course, they were trying to catch text on the pages to try to get my personal information, which you're not going to do. So they freeze frame it. Oh, it looks like it's...
No one told you to open the folder, Phil. You could have just showed the front of the folder and then left it at that. You're the one who had to be a dumbass and take it that extra step and open the damn thing up. No one told you to do that.
Blank. So that's their new conspiracy theory. Oh, they lied. Those are blank papers inside of an empty folder, and he's lying. He didn't get that from his attorney. It's like, you guys are just out of control. The only reason I know this is they're tweeting me about it. yeah, you're a liar. There's blank papers. I'm like, oh my God, you are idiots.
Well, there you go.
You know, I told you.
All right, guys, we're gonna get into the last video. Yeah, it's been a little longer than I thought it would, but you know, that's how we do around here. And I'll see you guys in just a second.
Guys, I was not going to talk about my taxes, but I have a...
Okay, guys, so yet again, Mr. Stuff's Dspgaming, tax fees and no time to sue. Now remember, back in April 8th, okay, April 8th, he said he wasn't going to talk about his taxes anymore. April 9th, he talked about the blank pages. This right here was April 11th, and we're talking about taxes again. So there you go.
Minor update in regards to the back state taxes. For those who may be interested, I just got a letter today from the state of Washington, okay, stating that what's going to happen is with these back taxes, the way it works is I'm going to owe whatever I owed for the years I didn't pay it, plus 30%. So let's say, for example, just a hypothetical, because I have no idea. Let's say for the year of 2014, I owed the state of Washington $1,000 for my taxes. Well, I'm going to owe them $1,300 instead because it's 3 years late. Okay? The thing is, I have no idea what I owe. In fact, what they said is you have to e-file the same way that I e-filed for last year's business taxes. So I have to contact my tax attorney again, who I thought I was done with, but nope, got to contact him again and say, all right, well, now the federal's done, but now the state has contacted me and said we need to e-file the same way that we did, you know, for last year's taxes for these last 2.5 years that are overdue. I'm assuming if we do that, it'll give them the information they need to figure out how much I owe. Okay, and then I guess once we know that, then we can talk to them about a payment plan, because there's no way that I can pay the money. I don't have it. It's that simple. They can just sit there and say, well, I'm getting nothing, or they can work out a payment plan with me. I'm pretty sure they're going to work out a payment plan with me. I'm just saying. Because I don't have the money. So anyway, just so you guys know, I know a few of you who are more longtime fans, you've been following the saga of everything going on with the taxes in the past 6+ months. It still continues. I still don't know what I owe. I'm not going to know until my attorney works on it, which might not be right away, I'm sure, because he's still dealing with federal taxes for people, I'm sure.
It's like broke foo. The legend continues. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Oh, wow.
It's probably going to go for a while. I would think probably he wouldn't even do it till like next month, and then probably let me file, and then probably he'll have to work with the state to see if we can work out a payment plan or whatever. So, but there you go. Just a quick update. Nothing too major. Nothing too bad. Nothing too amazing. Right? It just really sucks that.
Then why'd you bring it up then? It's not even an update. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't need to know that. Like, an update should be something rather crucial. To be honest with you, that's not crucial. It's common sense would have told anybody in your fan base that, well, they're more likely going to put him on a payment plan if he can't pay the tax. You know what I'm saying? If not, they just hauled your ass to jail. So, there you go.
30% penalty on taxes because I didn't know that I owed them. So, there you go.
Now, yet again, this was something that we had talked about early on. That was Wings of Gout on Twitter had said that the fees are really between 5% and 25%. So where's he getting the number 30 from? Just saying.
All because of a tax attorney that screwed me over and didn't do his job, but I paid him to do the work and he didn't do it. It blows. Hobo X, you're completely misunderstanding the whole situation. I'm not paying state income tax.
Maybe because you're not explaining it right.
There is no state income tax in Washington State. I am paying business and occupation tax, which if you are a live streamer, a YouTuber, or both in the state of Washington, you are legally required to register as a business if you make a certain amount of money, and you are legally required to pay taxes and file taxes. If people aren't doing it, they literally are not doing what they're supposed to do.
But they didn't get caught. First off, I'm sure anybody who streams and makes any type of moderate amount of money knows this. That's obvious. Second thing is, they didn't get caught. Third, you giving advice and then now and what you're really doing is preaching are two separate things. I know that seems a bit out of your realm, Phil, but that's what you're doing. Just saying.
And at any time they could be caught out, just like I was, and said, oh, you've been identified as someone not doing it right. You're in violation. You got to do it or else we're going to come after you. So there you go. It's that simple. Doesn't matter if other people don't do it. They're not doing it right either then. Okay? Johnny Soros cheered again. He says, did your tax attorney get in trouble for all the epic failure, the old one? No, because I looked into it. All right? I looked into it legally. What can I do to my tax attorney? All right? Legally, all I could do is attempt to sue him in small claims court. What would I sue him for? I can sue him for fees, all right, associated with my back taxes. So, for example, as I just I did a hypothetical. I said, let's say I owe $1,000 because for my 2014 back taxes. In fact, let's just make a crazy hypothetical. Let's say that for the half of the year of 2014 that I lived in Washington, for all of 2015, all of 2016, 2.5 years, I lived in Washington those years. Let's say I owe, I don't know, $3,000 total in back taxes that I didn't pay for those 3 years. Just a crazy hypothetical, all right? So now, 30% bonus, right? Fees, right? Like I said, it's 30% fees for not paying them on time. $900. Well, I would only be able to go after my former tax attorney for that $900. There's no way I could go after him for the tax that I legitimately owe. Because they would argue, oh, well, you still owe that no matter what. That's not his fault that you owe it. It's his fault you didn't pay it. So he should only be responsible for the fees and things associated that are a result of you not paying it. Okay? So I could only sue him for $900. That's it. All right? Now, of course, he'll argue, oh, I never said this or that. Now, I have an email. I have an email from him where I specifically asked him, should I seek out a new tax attorney in the state of Washington since they would know more about the tax code here? And his direct response was, I can continue to be your tax attorney and serve all of your tax needs. And then later email correspondence from him that I have says, I have researched and found that there is no state income tax in the state of Washington. Therefore, we are only going to be doing your federal tax return. Okay? So it's going to be very subjective, all right? It will be in the hands of a judge, basically, to determine those emails. Is that enough evidence of this former tax attorney stating that, he knows what he's doing and he's going to continue to be my tax attorney and that there was no further taxes outside of the federal taxes? Is that enough evidence to prove wrongdoing, that he did not clearly do the research needed and he missed it, which is his own negligence, and then he should be responsible or not? Then on top of all that, then the judge would have to determine, is he responsible for the full fees? Is he responsible for partial? You know what I mean? By the way, all that costs money. There's no service to file free lawsuits against people in, like a civil court for stuff like this. It doesn't exist. So, more than likely, for me to try to get this guy, right, would probably end up costing me more time and more money than it's worth. I mean, I might spend more money just getting the lawsuit to court for $900. Now, this is hypothetical. Let me tell you this. If I owed $100,000 in back taxes and the fees were $30,000, $40,000, of course, then I would sue the guy. But the thing is,
with what money? You want to say hypothetical? Okay, so we still have to apply your current situation to that equation. With what money? With what money would you be able to drag someone in court over $30,000 to $40,000? Would you ask your parents to put their house up as collateral for you to do that? Just out of curiosity. Like I said, being hypothetical, where would Phil find the money to do that? He has to retain a lawyer, present them their case, and then the case has to be built and go to court. Where would he find the money to do that? On that scale, by the way, because that's not small money. That's not little shillings and whatnot. That's some big bread. That's big money there. And you're gonna have to pay to play, especially in that situation. So where would you get the money for that then, Phil?
My taxes issue here is small potatoes. It's not, you know what I mean? There's no way it's going to be that much money. So it's not going to make sense for me to sue him or do anything. There's just no point. There's literally no point, all right, in me doing any of that. Plus, as you guys know, I'm overworked as it is. I'm streaming every day, all day.
I'm overworked. I'm overworked. Here's the thing. For all of us out here who have jobs or have careers, to hear someone who streams for like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, maybe 6, to have the nerve to sit on his ass and say that he's overworked. And Phil wonders why there's so many people who come for his headpiece. Seriously, Phil considers this work. Work. I found it kind of silly when Review Tech USA started saying shit like that. You know what I mean? But Phil at least really believes it. I don't know if Review Tech really believes it or not, but I know Phil does. Phil blatantly believes this. And what's the justification for it? Exactly. You call this work, yet you're not willing to make the changes needed for your business to make it work. Whereas in Rich's case, for example, he constantly keeps changing his format instead of giving it time to flush itself out. He just flip-flops on everything. And that's why, it's one of the reasons why it's not working. There's too many changes in such a short amount of time. He should know that. Especially since Rich at a couple different situations. One particular situation was he did a 2-hour stream, and King of Hypocrisy was in his stream and actually asked Rich a question, and I don't believe he had to pay for it, so that's nice. And Rich had said, I can't quote all of it verbatim, but he was basically like, I learned a lot of my mistakes from watching Phil and whatnot. So even though you're not making Phil's same mistakes, you're still making mistakes that could be traced back to Phil. You should know better, is basically what I'm trying to say. You should know better. And as it pertains to Rich especially, for someone who's followed Phil as long as he has, you knew how volatile this market was. You know what I mean? You knew what the consequences were of jumping into something like this. You saw Phil's own downfall. So why did you throw all your chips in? You know, why did you go all in on this? Knowing how volatile it was and how high the chances were to fail. Just saying.
Okay, right? I get one day off a week to spend with my girlfriend. Where am I going to get magical time now to start lawsuits and lawyers and all that? You know, where is it going to come from? If anything, all right, it would take, sadly, it would just take away from the streams. It would be less time for me to work, less time for me to entertain you guys and earn more money in the present. So why am I going to bother with
less time to stream, less time to entertain, and make more money in the long run? Even though all of those things are in decline currently. Okay.
That and the answer is I'm not. There's no point in me doing it. It's a complete waste of time. So no, I haven't gone after the old tax attorney. He's not in trouble because in order for me to get him in trouble, I would have to sue him. Then, of course, if word got out that he was sued and successfully lost the case against a former client of his because of negligence, he probably would lose his practice. Like, people would probably pull out in droves and say, there's no fucking way I want to do taxes with this guy anymore.
Not if they haven't had the same problem that you had. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, for just a little bit of lore, the person who was his tax attorney in Connecticut is a family friend of his. Phil leaves that out, but he said it before. So it's kind of a bit of an incentive, right? He can bash him because he hasn't thrown his name out there yet, but it's a bit of an incentive not to sit there and say, oh, I'm going to sue him, because if he did, he'd be suing a family friend. And I assume his father wouldn't look well on that, which only would unravel that onion even further on what's real and what isn't. Just something to think about.
So there you go. There you go. By the way, let me go open up my blinds and turn down my speakers before we get started here tonight. You know, one other thing that people should remember that a lot of people forget about. I now live in Washington State. The old attorney is in Connecticut, okay? It's not like I could just go to small claims court and file a claim and then be there in person for a trial. I mean, it's not possible. At one point, they'd probably require me to be there in person, which I can't do, or my lawyer would have to fly there, which is too expensive. See what I mean? So it's not worth it.
You're paying that lawyer to represent you. He's going to go. As for you, that's just laziness. And people sue other people outside of your state all the time. Shit, people sue other people outside of the country. That's not an excuse.
Oh, excuse me.
It's not an excuse. It really isn't.
Spooky one, you're right.
If someone was really wronged, they would do something about it. If you really feel like someone has wronged you, especially crossed you over money, you know what I mean? You would take steps to try to recoup that money. Phil's going to let it slide. So the question comes down to, was he really wronged? He's given you a bunch of excuses on why he can't do it. But he certainly hasn't given you a good reason on why he won't do it. Just saying. DSP News.
If he screwed me over, he might be screwing over the other people too. So let's hope that the other people, if he does screw over other people for a lot more money, let's hope that they can afford to take him to court and they have the time to do it. I don't. I can't afford it and I don't have the time for it.
Then how are they going to know if you're not going to say anything? Have you gone and done like an online review of his services and left a comment or anything? Have you decided to put the word out against him at all that, hey, this guy screwed me over, you guys may want to look into this person's practice? Have you done any of those things? No, you haven't. So how would other people know? So how do you hope that other people would look into his practice if they don't know, if they're not aware? Just saying.
It's that simple. So there you go. They call me Pineapple Man. Okay. This is so ridiculous. And when would I have time to do any of the things you're describing? When would this happen? Would it be, let's see. Right now I get up around between 9:15 and 9:30.
Here, let me actually see if I can pull that up.
Afford
my bad.
to take him to court, and they have the time to do it. I don't. I can't afford it, and I don't have the time for it. It's that simple. So there you go. They call me Pineapple Man. Okay.
Okay, they call me Pineapple Man. For real, for real. If you've got a good case, then you can get a lawyer. Okay, it makes sense.
So ridiculous. And when would I have time to do any of the things you're describing? When would this happen? Would it be, let's see. Right now
you won't need to pay them until you get your settlement. Sometimes they even do it for free if they don't win. That's true too, actually.
I get up around between 9:15 and 9:30 a.m. every day. Let's see, I wash up, I use the bathroom, usually grab something for breakfast.
You have someone represent you on behalf of the court. Some courts allow video conferences too. They call me Pineapple Man is beating you out, Phil. Goddamn.
Breakfast or have a coffee, and I immediately am streaming.
You out right now.
I'm streaming all the way through until 4 p.m. Then I'm uploading until 4:30. At 4:30, I'm making dinner
So yet again, as I had said previously, he's giving you all the reasons on why he can't do it, but he's not giving you a reason why he won't do it. Jesus, Phil. And you have to have an excuse for everything. Oh, I don't wake up until 10:30. Okay, wake up at 7. Wake up at 8. Like reasonable human beings do. I can't remember the last time that I woke up at like 11 or at 10:30. It'd be nice, but even on days that I want to sleep in, I don't. I don't know. It's just that's what happens when you work in the morning. But still, fucking A, man.
We're eating dinner with my girlfriend.
Jesus
we
Christ.
have about 1 hour a day together between streams. Then I'm right back on streaming till about 9 to 10 p.m., uploading videos. Then I have a little bit more time with her. And then it's 11 o'clock or midnight. Okay, so, and that's every day, except for the day I have off, which is my day off with her. So when exactly will I be...
We mean 11 o'clock or midnight? You stop streaming at what, 9, maybe 10? And then you said it only takes you like a half hour to go ahead and upload. 10:30? Then what? You really gotta manage Twitter? Fucking A, I don't manage Twitter. I just do food posts and fucking pretty women up there. And occasionally historic stuff. It's not managing Twitter, dude. Like, you don't manage Twitter. You don't talk to anybody. Unless they're kissing your ass or you're blocking them.
doing any of the things you're describing, my friend? When would this happen?
Wow.
To get what? $900? $1,000?
Wow.
Or I could just work now. I could, do fun, entertaining streams for you.
Now here's the thing. Phil should have ended the conversation right there. He has this penchant to keep talking, and then he gets mad when people call him out on the extra shit he says later. When he could have just deaded it right then and there. He could have let it go right then and there. But he can't. He has to, make his point. He has to try to end sharp. Like this is battle rap or something. Knowing that your third round has gone too far and you haven't said nothing. Seriously.
You guys raise more money, new money on new games, and not worry about the past, which is what I've been doing. So there you go. Reggie Face, I do not stream 12 hours a day. However, the setup, the breakdown, and the uploading of the videos and all of that in between.
Setup and breakdown, bitch. You don't got. Setup and breakdown. Okay, first things first. Setup and breakdown. Phil, you leave the setup the same way you started. There is no setup and breakdown. You don't have a set. You know what I'm saying? You don't have you don't have a green screen. You're not setting up lighting. You're not doing all this stuff that people like Almighty Tevin, for example, does. You don't do any of that. So there is no setup and breakdown. You have an office, as you call it, a room, really, dedicated to the business. You don't have to change anything around. We know that because when Kat moved in, she spent God knows how much time in there cleaning it up. Because guess what? You had all that, remember? You said it yourself. You had all that dust on the floor because you never move anything around. So tell me a little bit more about your setup and your breakdown. Okay, so we scratched that bullshit now, right? Okay, cool. Now, let's talk about the video uploading and shit. You used to say it used to take like 2 or 3 hours to babysit videos. Hence the reason why you wouldn't go to bed when you're done. Now you came out and admitted within the last, at least in the beginning of the year, that it only takes like a half hour, 20 minutes to a half hour. So there you go there. So tell me where your setup and breakdown is. You don't have any other equipment that you need to move. Everything you leave is in its place. You're amazing. It's amazing that he really believes people are that stupid, or that they don't pay enough attention to what he says that he thinks he can get away with stuff like this. Absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Setup and breakdown. Whatever, kiss my ass on that. Oh, I can tell you what you can do with your setup and your breakdown, sir.
Amounts to about 12 hours of work. I'd say on or off, you know. If you think about it, I start work at 10:15. Actually, it's really more 10 o'clock because I'm getting stuff set up. And that stream doesn't end till 4. And then I upload for half an hour. So right there's 6.5 hours. Then I take about an hour and a half break. I'm back at 6. And I'm streaming till 9 and then another. So you're talking, that's about 10 hours right there. And then in between, keep in mind, there's tweeting, there's monitor.
Wait a second. I don't know if he counted his break. I missed that part, so I'll jump back on that in just a second. But then he also takes 15-minute breaks, too, in between his streams. Don't let that happen. Don't let him walk away with that. Now, Almighty Tevin said he wasn't going to be a dick and bring that up. Fuck it. I'll do it. You do take 15-minute breaks. So let's not count that as any type of, you know, you pissing on the clock or you running downstairs to do whatever you decide to do, because he occasionally does that. It doesn't count as work. I mean, really, none of this counts as work. You sit on your ass and you play video games. It's not work. And if it is work, it explains why you keep rage quitting games. It explains why you look miserable every single day you come up on stream, even when you're given enormous amounts of money. It's not work because it's work. It's work because you made it work. Because you needed to justify what you do. So the one thing that you might have cared about, you don't now. Wings of Redemption type shit right there. And people wonder why, at least as of recent, why there's so many crossovers between DSP, Review Tech USA, and Wings of Redemption. Because they all fall in together. They all go together. That's the reason why.
Break. I'm back at 6, and I'm streaming till 9 and then another. So you're talking.
All right, my bad. Let me try to bring it all the way back to when he started.
Work. I'd say on or off, you know. If you think about it, I start work at 10:15. Actually, it's really more 10 o'clock because I'm getting stuff set up. And that stream doesn't end till 4. And then I upload for half an hour.
Okay, so from 10:15 to 4, 10 o'clock, if he wants a little 15 minutes, fine. So from 10 to 4, that's 6 hours.
So right there's 6.5 hours.
How you figure 6.5 hours when you said from 10 to 4?
Then I take about an hour and a half break. I'm back at 6. And I'm streaming till 9 and then another. So you're talking, that's about 10 hours right there. And then in between, keep in mind, there's tweeting, there's monitoring of everything going on, there's constant reading of emails for my work.
Moderating fucking Twitter, fucking reading email? What, you have employees? This isn't some fully functional business where you have different aspects of the business that need to be contributed. You essentially just copy and paste the same messages on Twitter, just changing little innuendos here and there, and fighting off haters, which even that is a waste of time, to be honest with you. I swear, when he engages with people on Twitter, especially his haters, he does it because he's bored. He does it because he's tired of interacting with the people, with his own fan base. That's the only reason why he indulges people, in my personal opinion, of course. You're babysitting what? Everything you do is copy paste? Alright. Whatever.
Emails I'm getting from YouTube about videos that have monetization declined or monetization approved, and answering, fans and all that kind of stuff. I'd say I put in about, on an average day, probably between 10 to 12 hours of work a day. On average. There's some days that are longer, and yes, there's some days that are less. But I'd say on average, that's about average. So.
Now, question. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Does you staying up until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on that Tanqueray and Sprite count as work? When you're shit posting on Twitter talking about how miserable your life is and you're mad that other people have success that should have gone to you. Is that considered work too? Is that considered overtime, actually? You know what I'm saying? Is that considered expenditures of hours and whatnot? How does that work? Is that extended hours? Is that doing what you have to do for the business? You know what I mean? Is that what that's part too? I'm just curious, because you've been easing back on it a little bit. I don't know if you don't have enough medication for it, or the medication's starting to really chop at you, because the fact that you're taking a medication to fight hangovers is dumb anyway. Like, just be a man and live with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you can't hold your liquor, or if you have to drink to the point where you're getting hangovers, maybe you should stop drinking. Maybe. Or maybe you could chase it with something. It's called water. It's good for you. You should probably be drinking more of that than all those Mountain Dew Kickstarters anyway. Just saying. But is that considered, is that also considered on the clock work too? Just saying. I'm just trying to clarify. People want to know. Nothing to say? Riveting.
Anything else?
And I feel like that's why Phil won't do debates. I really feel that's why he won't do debates. Like, there are plenty of people on Twitter, for example, who would eat Phil alive if he went and did a live debate with anybody. And Phil's just going to run. Because what can he really say? He can push his narrative, and that's it. There's no versatility there, though. There's no flexibility. So after the narrative has been presented and that gets picked apart, he's done. So, because, for example, at the time that I'm recording this on the 13th, Friday the 13th, actually. Brightside Viking went on, or Doyle Viking, whatever you guys want to call him. He went on the Kumite maybe a couple of days ago to defend this guy named Ross. That's a whole big story all in itself, actually. I don't even know if I want to touch that. But he went over on the Kumite and tried to defend Ross and whatever the case may be. I didn't watch it. At least I didn't get a chance to see it, I should say. Eventually, I'll get around to it. So I don't know how that outcome went. But then again, Brightside has never had a problem with engaging and getting into debates with people. Phil won't do that. He really can't. And the reason why I bring that up is because before Brightside went up there, I think the Kumite tried to reach out to Phil and see if he'd be willing to debate also, and he won't do it. Monday Matt is being asked to go up there, and they're offering him something like $1,200, $1,500 to go up there and debate, and he won't do it. It's interesting how that's all going out. I didn't know you had to pay someone to debate. But if you're going to get paid, fuck it. And it's only an hour? Psh, I don't know about y'all, but you know what I'm saying? $1,500 to debate somebody for an hour on a narrative that I'm already saying day after day anyway? I don't know. I don't know. 1,500. You know what I'm saying? To spew some shit that I'm already saying anyway? I don't know. But anyway, Phil wouldn't do that. Even if he got paid, you wouldn't get his money. You wouldn't get his money's worth because he would just clamp up on you. He would just shut down. So it would be a waste of your money either which way. There's something interesting though.
Ben Boxer says it's the principle. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, yeah. Am I pissed? Of course I'm pissed. I'm incredibly pissed at that situation, and I don't want that guy to ever screw anyone else over again. However, sadly,
at the same time, you're not making any moves to make sure he doesn't. You're not making a formal complaint. That doesn't cost you any money. You're not doing anything of the sort to put it all out there. So either A, you're really just incompetent, you don't know what you're doing, or B, he never did anything to you. I wonder which one it is.
I'm not the person in the position to fix it. I'm not, I'm the person who needs to bust my ass to work every day and try to make money, make ends meet, put out entertaining streams for you guys every day.
Make ends meet.
And that's my focus. I can't. I'm not a guy who's in a financial position to be able to.
Here's another thing too, ladies and gentlemen. When you guys get up to Phil's age, it doesn't matter really what age you are. You should never use the word that you can't. Every day that you draw breath, you can do something. You know what I mean? To improve yourself, to improve what you're doing. If you feel like you can't improve what you're doing, then you should probably do something else. The word can't is, granted though, there's limitations, by the way, so don't get me completely wrong on that. But the word can't should never really be in anybody's vocabulary. And that's kind of the problem. That's the reason why people like Phil exist. Because they said they can't. And people just accommodated to them because they couldn't. You know what I mean? Because no one was there to push him to be better or to do better. He lived with the word can't and just ran with it. And people just accommodated him. And there's nothing, and for someone to feel sorry for you because you need some help or whatever, or they want to help contribute to you is one thing. But for Phil, he's lived off of that probably his whole life. And that, Phil, because I know you're listening, better hurt you more than anything. When you look in the mirror, I want you to look in, the next time you look in the mirror, the day after you see this, I want you to look yourself dead in your eye, into that mirror, and know that the reason why you're at where you're at is because you weren't man enough to do what needed to be done. You were so scared to take 2 steps forward that you would rather stumble back 10 and have people carry you 6. I want you to think about that. I want you to really think about that. Because that's the sum up of your life right there. Instead of doing anything, the first thing that comes out of your mouth is I can't. That I can't. Not even that I'll try. It's I can't. DSP
mess around and make an example of this guy. I'm not. And yes, Reggie Face, that is correct as well. He says, you might go through all the effort and not even win. The law works in mysterious ways, and I'm assuming he may be a better player of the law than any of us. True. He might have a way to spin it and say, well, you see, those emails were not legal contracts, and I only ever billed him for federal returns. It's not like I billed him for a state return. I didn't do it. He would probably finagle it in a way where, he might get out of it, or he only is partially responsible. So what's the point? That's the point I'm making. What's the point? All right. I'm done talking about this. I really only wanted to mention it because a lot of people I know are wondering.
And there's the proof right there. As long as someone is willing to stand up for Phil and say, oh, well, you probably shouldn't do that, Phil, and this is why, he'll take that and run with it. But when someone gives him a suggestion on doing something, when someone gives him a reason to fall back, he'll fall back. But when someone gives him a reason to step forward, he has all the excuses in the world why he can't. This is a functional human being who has no real disabilities besides his own ignorance and own laziness, who could go out and work a job as he should. And he could still do this on the side, and he'd probably make the same amount of money. But he won't, because that's too hard. The moment he left the job market and he was able to finagle himself into doing this shit and convincing people to fucking give him money, he never looked back. And that's what Phil's known for. That's what Phil will always be known for. And this man has the nerve to say that, oh, if I stop making videos, there'll be a huge vacuum. Who will replace me? There'll be a void. You won't even be missed. And I can say that to you honestly. You won't even be missed. If you fade away right now, first off, you have an archive of material that you won't erase that will provide generations upon generations of material. You can see it in the detractor community now. You can have 10 different people look at the same piece of footage and they'll all cut it differently. They'll all see something that maybe another person didn't see, or they'll see it in their own way, or whatever the case may be. Which is kind of one of the beautiful things of not only being a detractor, but watching the detractor community, and especially how it's come up over the years. And Phil hasn't seen that. Phil's fan base can't adapt to it. And that's why he has to fling insults instead of coming back with hard facts or even just a reasonable argument. He just doesn't have it in him.
During what we're having with the state taxes, because I had no update. Now the update, I know the penalty will be 30%. The question is, what do I owe, and how long are they going to give me to pay it? So.
All right, so that is the end of that. That was a long one. It was a good look either which way. So I'll see you guys just a second for final thoughts. All right, guys. So final thoughts. As I said, as I think, all the money that he acquired to pay this back tax didn't go to the back tax. Probably never was going to. But, excuse me, it certainly helped with the federal tax. It certainly helped pay his tax attorney or the person who prepares his taxes. And if he does really owe anything, it'll go to that. It also, bonus, helped move Cat in, and it helped him spurge. It helped present a lifestyle that he really can't afford. And he overplayed his cards. It put him in a bad spot. And that's kind of the reason why he's in where he's in now. Now, is Phil as in destitute? You know what I mean? Is he in the worst possible case? No, not at all. Not at all, I don't think. And whatnot. Because if not, he would be literally bearing his ass if that was the case. He's not. But he's not comfortable. He is certainly far from it. And so the business tax situation has hurt him. The back taxes aren't nearly as serious as he makes them out to be. And he has to ease back off the throttle now because he bled them too deep, as I had already said. He's bled them way too deep, and now he has to buy time until he can make things, come back in the situation, can come back and stable itself out. So right now, his best move is to, all right, guys, I'm not going to mention taxes. I'll give you guys minor updates and whatnot, so he doesn't scare anybody away. So he doesn't push anybody away. So he himself doesn't reveal anything about his taxes that he doesn't want to let out. And just play everything by ear from there. He has no real other choice at this point. Like I said, he played his cards too close to the chest, and he failed. He had no choice but to fold, which is what he did. He's still in the game. He just folded that hand. So we'll give him time, and we'll see what will come up out of that. Guys, it's been like 4 or 5 days, I guess, since my last upload. I think the last upload I had for you guys was on the 9th, I think. And I actually had like 2 or 3 videos that I could have put up since then. My apologies and whatnot. So those will probably end up going up next week. This video, like I said, is being recorded on the 13th. It'll probably go up on the 14th over the weekend. And I know I don't usually put videos out on the weekends, but we'll do that. I have some old videos that need to go up so I can get them up and out of there, and then we can kind of start fresh, because there are some Q&A videos that Agent GGG wants to do. There's a bunch of Snort Burnell videos that I'd like to do. There is this whole bully situation. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. Actually, here, bear with me for just a second. What is that shit called? Bully Hunter? You got whatever the hell that is. You got that going on. There's all kinds of nonsense going on right now. Low Tier God, by the way, actually has just made it onto national television. Now he's beefing with Ultra David. We might cover that. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Rich is being blamed for doxing somebody. We'll get into that. There's just a lot going on. There'll be a lot of, you'll see some shout outs in the beginning of the video, maybe towards the end, but definitely in the beginning. Please check my comment, you guys are always welcome in the comment section, but my description, I'm going to put in every person who's covered the tax situation, at least with a recent video, up till today. So you'll literally have a library of videos there from a bunch of different people who have chimed in on it, at least that I can find. In there, so you have like a nice little quick reference if you want. Also, some of the channels that I've shouted out, or I've been known to shout out, will also be down there. Please check them out. I might even section them off just so you know who's who. And I'd like to just try to give back to the people who've given me so much. to be perfectly honest with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and listening in. And I am your host / anchor, GTG, and I am signing off. And the broadcast. Pay your taxes. Please, to God, pay your taxes. Okay? Do not become the GoutFather. Pay your taxes. It's important. It really is. Jesus Christ. Because you cannot expect people to pay them for you. It's just not reasonable. It really isn't. All right, let me get myself a drink. Later, guys.